Diaz, he signed an extension till 2029. Diaz says Manchester is his home now. To the City Ground, where Forest insist reports they're about to sack Nuno a wide of the mark. talkSPORT's Troy Deeney says it's more noise the club could really do without.
Even these rumours coming out now start to be like...
It's not helpful, is it?
What's going on? And I think some of the senior players like your Chris Wood...
He might have to get his boots on and play centre-back in the Conference League qualifying next week. The Eagles take a 1-0 lead to Fredrikstad, with Glasner more or less begging for reinforcements. Elsewhere this Friday lunchtime, talkSPORT understands Wolves have ruled out selling striker Jurgen Strand-Larsen. Newcastle were interested, and we're hearing Villa have made Nicholas Jackson their top target. There's plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A famine has been officially declared in Gaza City by a UN-backed report, and actor Noel Clarke has lost his libel claim against the publisher of The Guardian over sexual misconduct claims. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Buy 2 or more Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres and claim Bridgestone's massive 20,000 mileage guarantee. Visit quickfit.com and book today. Conditions apply.
Mostly dry this afternoon, with warmer sunny spells developing, cooler and cloudier across central areas. There is a bit of drizzle about.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans. It's done by the fans.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
You don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Just as well that you can't hear what's going on in this studio. In the preparation for the 3 hours you're about to hear with me, Danny Kelly, and him, Andy Jacobs, I tried a little bit of let's get going here, Andy, and I said, right, this show, let's attack. So we did attack together for about 3, and then 2 old geezers got tired. 2 old geezers got tired and couldn't attack anymore.
No, we'll be attacking.
Listen, everybody, welcome along to my final 3 hours of this week's editions of Kelly and Jacobs. I hope you've enjoyed listening as much as I've enjoyed doing them, because if you have, you've had an absolute blast. And don't worry, we're going to try to put as much as we can into this last 3 hours this afternoon, including all the big races from York. I'll tell you about those a little bit later. Rupert Bell and Louis Stewart will join us for that. We have a brilliant Clips of the Week. It's a Clips of the Week compendium special. We've had a great laugh putting it together, so hopefully you'll be here. That'll be quite late in the programme. And we've got lots of nice guests for you as well, building up to the football at the weekend and much else besides. Welcome one, welcome all. I'm Danny Kelly. He's Andy Jacobs. You're the listening millions, and that's exactly how it's meant to be.
Beautiful. I'm excited, of course, because there's a massive Neighbours fan. Dr. Carl Kennedy, Alan Fletcher will be coming in this hour, I think. Or
yeah, I think I've seen him in the building already.
Oh, good.
Being mobbed.
Okay. Yeah, well, people...
mobbed.
That's the thing about Neighbours. If you don't know about it, if you're not interested, that's fine. But if you do, you love it. So...
Well, I have a very strange relationship with Neighbours. 1, I have never seen a single moment of any edition.
Oh dear, don't tell
and
him that.
2, I look like Harold Bishop. So I do.
You
Come
do.
on.
Well, a little bit of the
Yeah, look at that. I'm looking at myself on the screen there. There's H.
You have to be you would need to wobble a bit more than you would.
Well, I can probably do that if you ask me to, yeah. What you been at, Andy? What you got there for us?
Well, last night I wanted to watch the Palace game, but I couldn't find it. I didn't realise it was on Channel 5. I looked everywhere. Discovery, Amazon, BT.
TNT,
oh,
BN.
for goodness sake.
It is incredibly difficult, isn't it?
Oh, it's mad. And then so in the end I watched The 100, which was actually very exciting. We'll talk to Jamie Overton about it.
Looking forward to that.
Not everybody likes it, but, I think it's improved, and 23,000 people at the Oval last night.
Sometimes I'm critical of it, but what I cannot say, with any honesty, is that people don't like it because the grounds look full every time I turn the TV.
No,
and of course, the other night there was no football on, and I was in the hotel, put on the television, and I watched the 100 quite happily.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun. As I say, it's a gateway to Test cricket, I think. And then also I was thinking about I watched a preview of the Women's Rugby World Cup, which starts tonight in the Stadium of Light.
Yes.
And two things from that. I was thinking, I've only ever been to the Stadium of Light once. I went to a game of Chelsea versus Sunderland, or Sunderland versus Chelsea. I've been to the Edinburgh Festival when we worked our way back.
Yeah.
And I managed to convince the wife that Sunderland would be a good place to stop off on the way back, not telling her that Chelsea were playing on the Tuesday.
This is known in
night.
the trade as the Andy Brassel holiday itinerary plan.
Yeah, probably.
It is, yeah.
It is. And I was standing behind the goal in the warm-up, and I was standing next to this bloke, and Lampard was shooting at the goal, Frank Lampard, and he hit the ball pretty hard, and he hit this bloke right in the face.
Whoa.
And he went down like a sack of spuds.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Lampard he was concerned, so he came running over. I've never seen anybody recover so quickly. It was incredible. He went from completely almost concussed to, oh, hi, Frank, lovely to see you. It was a miracle. And then also, watching this preview, no one would touch the trophy. You know this thing about if it's a big trophy, the World Cup or the...
Yeah, you don't touch it till you won it.
Do you know where that came from?
No, do you?
No, I was wondering where did this actually start? And, of course, it's why everybody was so angry with Salt Bay, the steak chef.
Yeah.
During the last World Cup, I watched it again last night to check what went on. What a piece of work he was, that bloke. And he did. He grabbed the trophy off Angel Di Maria. He grabbed it off Romero. And
that whole presentation with the strange clothes and all the rest of it was nuts.
Oh yeah, it was mad with Lionel Messi in that outfit. Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I am no food critic. Indeed, I'm very very uncritical of food. But the Salt Bay thing. I mean, I know that this is 5 years old, isn't it? But the thing of paying 120 quid for a bit
the rest,
if you're dead, is it more? Is it?
Yeah.
Because he can drop salt onto his elbow. I mean, you're going to say. Fair play, you've got some shtick.
Well, I'm not, because I think he's bloke's ridiculous. But look, fair play to him in a certain sense, but that was a really bad example.
I think not touching a trophy must be just superstition, isn't it? Hubris.
Yeah, or just that if you haven't won it, then you're not allowed to touch it. So I don't know, but if anybody knows where that originally came from,
I'd love to know.
I'd love to know that as well. So that was good. What else have I got?
I'll just
okay.
while you're rough. Oh, you're not riffling through your notes. You've got something else now. Go on.
Well, I have. I'm fascinated by letters to the newspapers, and I'm fascinated about this bloke, Andrew Hudson.
I'm amazed that there are still newspapers, and there are still people who write to newspapers.
Well, they text them anyway. This is Star Texters. He says,
okay.
He says, in your Bluffer's Guide to Being Old, you refer to the oldest Test cricketer as being Wilf Road. He was never Wilf, but always Wilfred. You think, all right, mate, he was Wilfred Rhodes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to criticise somebody, you might as well get the name right.
He's dealing with me and you there, Andy. Yeah, get it right, mate. Yeah,
definitely would help.
You used the phrase there, went down like a sack of spuds. And it reminded me, it made me laugh that when we first moved, myself and Mrs. Kelly, to Ireland 7 years ago now, can you believe it, Andy? It's over 7 years. It's gone by in an absolute click of fingers. But I think she had her first real engagement with what Ireland is like. We go into the supermarket. This is literally the first week we're there, and they're selling sacks of spuds, which is a pretty sad thing. But of course, spuds are very popular in Ireland, as you know. You get spuds, of course. And she was very. He said, sacks of spuds. What was it? 50 kilograms, $29.99. Only one sack per customer. Is it? People are going to be buying 2 and 3 bags of spuds. They were huge bags. Only one per customer. It was very, very good. And I'm not joking. And I don't want to make light of this. If you go into a restaurant, in a hotel, for instance, in Ireland, can we have steak and chips, please? The steak will come on a bed of mashed potato. You'll always get 2 different kinds of spuds. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you go in the kind of places you go to, cordon bleu and all that stuff.
Very much
but if you
so.
go to an ordinary restaurant, they give you, of course, you'll get 2 kinds of spuds, probably crisps on the side as well.
Marvellous. And I don't know if you saw Karen Brady was on talkSPORT last Sunday.
Yes, she was in full. She was coming in off her long run, wasn't she?
Yes, and very much backing Graham Potter, which you'd expect her to do.
For another few weeks, yes.
Karen went on talkSPORT Radio to back Potter. This is in the paper this morning, and insisted there was no reason to panic. And then they asked Graham Potter about it, and he said, I don't think too much about it, to be honest. I didn't even know she'd been on the radio. And with the greatest respect, I don't listen to the radio, especially that station.
Oh, Graham. Oh, well, I suspect
That's all down to me, probably.
I suspect it's down to you.
It is.
When he was manager of the Chelsea, you were really
yes.
you were flaying him. I think is that the right phrase?
Flaying is right.
You really were. The poor man had not a drop of skin left.
Anyway, he might get
on
some
his
revenge.
bones.
He might get some revenge tonight, so I don't want to say too much.
Well, if honest to God, if West Ham beat Chelsea tonight, then the Chelsea project looks broken as well.
Doomed. Well, it's very early in the season.
That one, of course, is live on talkSPORT. All the big games are on live on talkSPORT this weekend. We'll let you know more about those as the show progresses. But that one is tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff, I presume, Andy. Yeah.
Yes, 8 o'clock
Yeah.
kickoff. And
Okay.
you see, Spurs are ready to sign Monaco midfielder Magnus. I can't pronounce his name. Akliouche, is that?
Akliouche, yes.
Akliouche. And but it says here. But in a strange quirk of fate, Akliouche usually plays in a red shirt with white sleeves, just like Spurs' arch rivals.
Rotherham.
Yeah, exactly. And
Fleetwood.
but that's not gonna. It could ring alarm bells with their most fervent fans. I mean, you wouldn't care if Spurs signed a bloke from a club that wore red. That's madness.
I don't understand. I mean, the people who moan and groan about Spurs' sponsors, I still don't know what they're selling, being red. They just don't know the history of the club. Before they adopted the white shirt, Spurs wore a red and brown striped shirt.
Did they?
I think you in the 60s would have looked good in it, actually. It was chocolate brown and red stripes. So we've had red in our kit before.
Oh,
Now, of course,
never knew that.
the pure lily white, the virginal white is the great thing. And, of course, I loved when we play in Europe in the all-white kit. It just looks lovely. Unlike some of the things that have been going on around the club in the last few days. All right, already we've had bags of spuds. Guys, Akliouche is exactly what on the Spurs podcast I do when we were going nuts yesterday about Ebereeze, one of my colleagues said, I bet you we find some hipster footballer in France. And of course, it was Akliouche. He almost beep, 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 beep. There he is. Somebody that Andy Brassel and I talk about semi-regularly on Trans Europe Express. Yes, he's a good player in France. What I say about that is France is every bit as physical as the Premier League, maybe 5% less, but you've got to be tough to play in France. Whether or not he's good enough for the Premier League would remain to be seen, isn't it?
Okay.
I mean, it's like signing players from Holland, isn't it? They're a complete and utter gamble.
Oh yeah.
You might get.
Holland can be a.
Yeah, you might get Van Nistelrooy, and you might get Mateo Kesman. You just don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah. No.
Well, Mateo Kesman. Already that is one for the teenagers, though that seems like a really recent transfer in my mind. You're listening to Kelly and Jacobs. We've got a lot to get through.
Actually.
Yeah. We're going to talk next to Kevin Day, of course, Crystal Palace fan, top comedian and great friend of this show, because while everyone is going on about Spurs getting shafted, if that's the correct word to use on the radio, by Ebereeze and to Crystal Palace and Arsenal, of course, Crystal Palace themselves now have a huge problem. There's great big holes in their team, and Oliver Glasner was making no bones about it yesterday. We'll talk to Kevin next here on talkSPORT.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans that's done by the fans.
Yes! Goal! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences. That's
If you've got a problem or something to say,
you don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Not a big win, but a win's a win. Palace 1, Fredrikstad FK 0. So first ever game in proper European competition for Palace, and they win it thanks to John-Philippe Mateta's second half goal. It was a long throw that took 2 volleys from Will Hughes. The second one purposely diverted by the head of Mateta beyond the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. No Eberici Eze, not exactly no problem, but life after Eze begins with a Palace win in Europe. Crystal Palace 1, Fredrikstad 0.
Yeah, Ian Abraham's reporting on last night's game in the conference qualifiers for Crystal Palace. And after the game, the Crystal Palace boss, Oliver Glasner, spoke to the media after that 1-0 victory against Fredrikstad. Now, clearly, he isn't happy with the club's transfer business this summer as they look to set to lose Eberici Eze to Arsenal.
The profile is defined for months. It's not surprising for everyone that Ebb's left. Honestly, it's not surprising. So because 5 days earlier we couldn't have done anything if he leaves. So we knew that the chance is very high that this will happen. Yeah, and honestly, and this is again, and I say it like it is, we missed to replace him early enough. That's completely our fault and nobody else's fault.
Yeah, and that was just part of an extended sort of recitation of the problem that Crystal Palace have got. They haven't got enough players. Indeed, Oliver Glasner went on to say that their bench was comprised of 1 youth player and 2 who they've told they can go. So they've only got about 15 actual starters, he thinks, available. Interesting press conferences, and he was not hiding his feelings. So helps talk about this and much else besides. Comedian, Crystal Palace fan, and I think most importantly, friend of talkSPORT and friend of Hawksby and Jacobs, Kevin Day joins us. Hi, Kevin.
Hello there, Danny. How are you?
Really, really good, and great to talk to you as well. Of course, football moves in a very quick circle, doesn't it? Yesterday, it was all about grigging Spurs fans because of getting hijacked by Arsenal. Today, of course, the smoke clears, and Crystal Palace, certainly in the form of their manager, Kevin, realises that they're now well short.
He's a funny chap, Lau. It's very interesting. I was talking to many people in the pub last night who reliably informed me of many things. One of whom was a lad who said, "Well, Glasner's going to be furious that Eze's gone." And I said, "Well, that's interesting because you spent the whole of last season telling me that Glasner didn't fancy Eze because he wasn't quick enough and he made the wrong decisions." Glasner's been quite public about the fact that he prefers a small squad. He prefers to start with the same 11, 12 players if he possibly can. He's always said he doesn't want a giant squad with players that he's never going to pick. It's very strange. One player in particular, Eze, who was on the bench last night, who we all thought is the natural replacement for Eze, and clearly he doesn't seem to think so. And then people saying, well, it's because we haven't got a sporting director. So we had a sporting director this time last year, and we hadn't signed anybody either. So, and then the other thing, we've been distracted by Europe. Well, we haven't been distracted by Europe. There's a lot of people work at Palace. We're not a corner shop where someone's going, I'm waiting for a delivery. I can't help you. I'm waiting for a delivery. We're not distracted. The big problem, you two will know this, the big problem is And this is a good thing for talkSPORT, because if it wasn't so, talkSPORT would be on for an hour a day. The big problem is that football fans don't understand how difficult it is to get transfers done. It's very, very difficult. I mean, unless you're one of the clubs like Arsenal, Man United still, Man City, Liverpool, who can attract anybody. For the rest of us, it's very hard. Because agents in particular, if Palace show interest in a player, the agent will say, well, if they're interested in you, other Premier League teams will be interested in you. Let's hang on, wait, see how it goes. We might get other offers. It's not as simple as just going down to another club saying we'd like to buy that player. And and you try and explain that to people, they don't get it. They go, well, we're a Premier League club. We just give them 80 million quid. I mean, to be perfectly honest, Spurs fans are more annoyed about as they go to Arsenal and Palace fans are. I mean, that's hilarious. I think the only thing Arsenal could do better now is not play him.
Well, or produce Sol Campbell carrying the pen out for the signing ceremony. They could do that, I suppose.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The recruitment, though, of Palace has been fantastic.
Wharton, look at Wharton, all of them, yeah.
You know, I was saying, having watched Palace on Sunday live, you know, you realise what a brilliant manager and what a brilliant team they are. And if they had, rather than getting rid of a couple of players, I know the way the food chain works, but if they could only add a few, 3 or 4 players, they'd be right up there. They've got 6 or 7 players any Premier League top 4 team would love to have, would covet.
We've got a really strong first team. I say this every time I'm on talkSPORT. We've got a really good first team. We've got a really good first 12. After that, we do lack cover. The other problem is that sometimes a club and a manager will have different ideas on what the transfer policy should be, because the club will say, well, we want to bring in younger players that we can resell. This was always a problem with Hodgson. Hodgson wanted older players with experience. Palace didn't want to bring those players in. When we get it right, we do get it right. The other thing as well, and it drives me mad with Palace fans, it's like we bought Benitez, Argentine international goalkeeper, on a free transfer, good business. We bought Borna Sosa, 38 caps for Croatia from Ajax for 4 to 7 million quid, good business. But what we should have done is told Palace fans that they cost 10 million quid each.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're sitting there going, well, it must be rubbish. Why are we paying? Why are we getting him? And you go, no, this is a really shrewd buy. This is covering positions we need covered. No. So just, if Steve Parish is listening, whoever you get in, just tell us they cost 80 million quid. And then we can look Arsenal fans in the face. Then we can go, yeah, we're one of the big teams. But again, Glasner wants a certain sort of player. Steve Parish wants a different sort of player, is probably the argument. But as you say, when we get it right, like Adam Wharton, it took a long time for Mateta to come right, but he was fantastic. Kamada looked terrible when we first brought him in, and he was a player that Glasner insisted on bringing in. He looked terrible, but he came right. So yeah, we do need cover. But and you mentioned the food chain, and this is a reminder of where we are in the food chain. We've won the FA Cup, we've won the Community Shield, the 4th biggest trophy
Fantastic.
in European football. But even Newcastle are being reminded of the place in the food chain. Newcastle, for me, are a team who will be challenging for the Champions League places for the next 5 seasons, who you wouldn't put it past them to win the Premier League, but still they've got players who think there are bigger clubs in the country that they insist that they should go to. So the pecking order is very strong. You have to, again, last night, the amount of people who came up to me, Steve Parish has taken his club as far as he can.
Yeah, of course. That's the language now. Football fans, it's mad, isn't it?
It's incredible. So you say to them, "What Premier League stability, the FA Cup, hopefully a run in Europe." That's as far as any of us would ever dreamt of.
Yeah. Kevin, you're clearly not fearful like the manager appears to be. The only thing I don't want to be apocalyptic about it, but he looked his body language, I'm not an expert, but his body language was so negative. I wondered if he would, he's right at the peak of his career now because of those very trophies you mentioned, Kevin. Do you think there's any danger that Oliver Glasner might just take his ball home?
He was giving the full Andy Jacob vibe last night, wasn't he?
He was,
He really was. He was prickly. He's always been quite prickly. He had a couple of tantrums last season. He says things out loud. I've met him briefly, and everyone tells me he's a really, really charming chap. I don't think he was ever going to be our manager next season anyway. I think he's always been quite honest in the fact that we were his doorway into the Premier League, if you like, the next step on his CV, a way to raise his profile, because he's a very good manager.
Yeah.
Anyway, full stop. I mean, it's incredible. He's so wedded though to this system 5-2-3. He's so wedded to it. I'm amazed that other teams don't work out ways of beating it. But we're so good at doing it with the players that we have. But yeah, he'll be in demand already. I'd be amazed if he was to walk out. I mean, that's the latest thing last night in the pub after the game. Oh, he's definitely going. He's walking. Because we're all reliably informed.
You need to go to a happier pub, Kevin.
Do you know what? It's driving me up. It's driving. I'll tell you what, Danny. The last 3 weeks, the FA Cup has been on display at Selhurst Park.
Wonderful.
And as a trustee of the foundation, I've been going down there to meet and greet people as they come in, and to take advantage of their good mood and ask them for money for the charity.
Yeah.
And they were some of the happiest days of my life. Seriously, just meeting these people, watching their face when they saw the FA Cup trophy itself, talking to them about their memories, and then suddenly last night it's gone from that to we'll be lucky to stay up this season. We're definitely going to lose. Fredrikstad got a plastic pitch, and so I'm reliably informed that none of our players have ever played on a plastic pitch.
Or trained on one. No,
or never. They haven't even got training shoes, so we've got no chance. And I don't know where it's come. My theory is, Danny, that the more middle class the Palace fan is, the more gloomy he is.
Overthinkers. Overthinkers.
It's what it is. I'm on a couple of WhatsApp groups, and one of them is a cheery pub WhatsApp group where, for the most part, everyone's really happy. And there's another one. It's just the middle class navel gazers who I love dearly, but
I've got to stick up for the middle class navel gazers.
Of course, but they're the ones who want what we can't get. I prefer one of my oldest mates, the Princess. He always says, "Never let a day at the football be ruined by the football."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which is a great way to live.
And on Sunday, it's the I've been told what it's called, but I like to call it the teams who have messed Spurs about the derby. But Palace against Forest. What are you expecting from that, Kevin?
We're calling it El Clasico.
Yeah,
basically. I want this game out of the way desperately. We all want this game out of the way desperately. I'm afraid there are certain people in the media who have been trying to talk it up as a hostile, volatile, potentially dynamic, dynamite encounter. I just want. I'm not a fan of this stage of the season. I can never wait for the season to start, and then when it does start, I think it's too early. It's too sunny. It's 2:00 kick. I think it will be a tense match. I think there will be banter exchanged from both the home end and the away end. I think there will be banners displayed. I've got nothing against. I don't know any Palace fan who genuinely has got anything against Forest fans. Their owner's a different matter, but we won't go into that because he can afford much better lawyers than I can. But we've got nothing against Forest. But the media want it to be. They want it to be edgy. They want it to be nasty. It's going to be a difficult game. I really want it out of the way. I'll be much more relaxed when that game's over and done with, and then the season sort of starts from there. Actually, I'll be more relaxed when the international break starts, so we can have a week off to the anxiety. It's August. We shouldn't be.
No.
Too much anxiety in August.
The transfer window causes people to go absolutely bonkers.
The transfer window has to close the day the season starts.
That would help everybody. Absolutely right, Kevin.
It's a nonsense that the transfer window carries on 3 weeks into the season. It's impossible. I feel for people, parents buying their kids shirts with the names of their favourite player on. 3 weeks into the season, the player's gone. Agents don't think of things like this. Sky Sports
they've got no regard for the parents of the country, Kevin. Thank you so much indeed. Kevin Data, who of course always helps us out here on talkSPORT, and trying to talk a bit of sense into Oliver Glasner. Now listen, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range. In-store, on app and online. Next stop, Toolstation.
Eddie Howe says if there's one thing he could change about this summer, it's keeping the Isak saga behind closed doors.
In this situation, the club has spoken, and probably justifiably so in that moment.
Newcastle will be without the striker for Monday's clash with Liverpool, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Another man who's going nowhere is Ruben Dias. He's signed a fresh contract with Man City lasting until 2029. City face Tottenham tomorrow lunchtime, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Now, Forest have rejected claims that Nuno Espirito Santo could be sacked. Reports in Italy suggest Evangelos Marinakis has had enough and wants to get rid. But talkSPORT's Alex Crook says he's been told that's a no, but isn't surprised at friction between the manager and owner.
Both Marinakis and Nuno can be quite volatile. Sometimes that will work in Forest's favour because I think Marinakis doesn't necessarily want a yes man working underneath him, but it's also going to mean there are going to be clashes in personality along the way.
And is there a defensive crisis emerging at Crystal Palace? Oliver Glasner says there will be if Mark Gahey leaves this summer. And then, well, desperate times call for desperate measures.
We have no centre-back available at the moment. And if Mark leaves, okay, maybe I will try my boots because I was a centre-back and this could be a good option.
Get more on talksport.com.
Everybody needs good neighbours.
You know the tune, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With little understanding and all that. Listen, I've just admitted, both honestly, but sort of shamefacedly as well, I guess, because it's been on for 40 years, that I have never seen 1 second of the Australian soap opera Neighbours. Now, when one of the veteran actors who've made it such a success globally walked into the studio, Andy reacted as though Elvis had arrived with Paul McCartney carrying his coat. I mean, it was astonishing. So a big welcome then. I'm the one who's missing out here to Alan Fletcher. Hello, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Hey, acting, they never lose it, do they?
No, I know. Alan's been on a lot.
I know he's been on. He's been on
Lovely to
many
be here.
times.
Always lovely.
In fact, I've done this before with him, and I've probably done exactly the same speech about Neighbours.
He did admit he looked like Harold Bishop. Though.
Yeah, and I really do. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
form an orderly queue, ladies and gents. I don't mind.
Sadly, tragically, Neighbours is coming to an end. The filming is over, isn't it? We're absolutely gutted, I can't tell you. Especially now Carl's just landed a fantastic new job.
Yes.
And then that's it.
And I have to say, the last 2 years have been really special. You know, the whole program has been uplifted by rebooting because we got to build it from the ground up again.
Yeah. Over on Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, over at Amazon. So we actually ended up with a technically better show, a wonderful diverse cast and crew. It was just the culture was amazing. So a very, very happy place. So it doubles the sadness to leave.
And it's been a great training ground for actors, isn't it, over the years? So many big stars have come from Neighbours. It's amazing.
You're going to name 3 of them for me?
Margot Robbie.
Okay, well, that is pretty big.
Guy Pearce, of course.
Yeah, of course, okay.
Many more. Lovely Jason. The thing about Neighbours is it's like the best film and TV school going around because thousands of people have trained there.
Passed through it, yeah.
We've had people who started as runners who are now producing films. It's just that's how it works.
Alan, how did they break the news to you, and what was the justification for bringing it to an end?
Well, they broke the news very obviously gently.
Yeah.
They broke it uniformly to everybody. I mean, we had a bit of a suspicion because the contract was extended by just 3 months, which would take filming to a point where it would be on air until December. So that was kind of a bit of a hint.
Okay.
And I think it was probably always in Amazon's mind that it would be a limited life series. So, all hail to them. They gave us 400 plus more episodes. They gave us 2 years more filming. So, it's been a great
And Andy,
partnership.
I must ask you this question. Why do you love it so?
Escapism, fun. It's just good. It's just,
Dr. Carl.
Dr. Carl, yeah, Dr. It's just but there's something about it. I don't really like any of the other soap operas particularly.
No, that's why I'm asking.
I don't watch Corrie or EastEnders. There's something about it, the Australian thing about it and everything. I always wanted to be in it. Max Rushton, I'm very jealous. He has actually appeared in it.
He has appeared.
I was gutted. But I worked it out, actually, because the last time there was quite a big finish, a big ending. And I saw the producer, Jason Herbison, saying there's not going to be a big finish. And I've noticed now, I've worked out what's going to happen. Basically, last week, Byron left. It looks like Aaron is on his way. So I worked out that what's happening is people are leaving one by one. It'll just be you and Susan in the last episode revealing the contents of the blue box.
Well, it's so interesting. You couldn't be closer. And one of us leaves at the end of the episode, leaving just one behind. Maybe that's true, Andy.
Their love life is what I'm referring to, this blue box. We never know what's in it. It's a bit like Sanjeev Bhaskar's Satchel in Unforgotten, but it's basically, it's never revealed, is it?
It's never revealed, but just on air only 2 nights ago, I think it was, I was caught wearing some Norwegian, Viking antlers, and Susan was in a black leather.
It was the love dice that were doing it.
The love dice, yes. Danny's looking at us like, what on earth is going on?
No. I'm a great fan of anything which is approached with enthusiasm. The two of you are obviously so enthusiastic for it. But it's a bit late for me to catch up now, though, isn't it?
It's a bit late. Well, they show all the old ones as well. But the interesting thing about your performance is that you have to do both things. You have to do. He's quite a comedic figure, a figure of fun. But also you had like this storyline with Darcy, your nephew, who basically got into your head and was a brilliant villain. I mean, that's the way the bloke played it.
Yeah, indeed.
It was really menacing.
For Danny's benefit, this is the reason I stayed there for 30 years is because
cash.
Cash. Yeah, every day my bank manager insisted. Every day I'd come into work and I'd either be doing high drama or high comedy, as Andy said, and every day was different. And the character has developed over 30 years. So I'm not playing the same bloke. So I've had the best time. And as an actor, I've been working, 35
Absolutely.
weeks a
No. No one's criticising that. That's a great thing to be. I know you're a singer as well, and I can talk about music. But first of all, we should make the point that you also support Liverpool Football Club.
Indeed.
I guess I'm finding it very hard to think they'll be any better than they were last year, even though they've added great players to the squad.
They have.
How can they be any better? They were just on some kind. It was almost supernatural last year. They just were amazing.
Yeah, I think that as long as they tighten up in the back with what they've got up forward, I mean, they could be unstoppable. And I think that Arne Slot's just really recruited well. He's bought well. I think we've got a better depth at the moment, and
He seems like a good bloke, honestly. I shouldn't say that about a rival, really.
No, well,
as a person, he seems like
and we know what'll happen. You'll like him till he goes to Chelsea. Yeah,
he won't go to Chelsea. I think the difference for Liverpool this year is that the fact that the others are stronger. Whereas I think last year, Arsenal fell away, City weren't what they were, and Chelsea,
Spurs were 17th.
Yeah, and Chelsea mounted a challenge. I think this year it'll be a little bit harder for them.
Well, even from the first game, the style of play seemed a little bit different, and it seemed a little bit more like almost reckless.
It was more Kloppy, wasn't it, that first performance?
Yes, yeah. And it was really players backing themselves. And Ekitike's goal, just beautiful, the way he pushes through like that. So there's so much to like.
He reminds me of Stan Ekitike, a bit like Stan. Yeah. It's similar style. Now, we should also talk about your music, as Danny mentioned there. You're on tour with your group, with your band, and it's going really well, isn't it?
It is. It's going fantastically. We've already done 19 gigs, so I'm halfway through. We're taking a 3-week break before I go basically up north, Birmingham upwards. Yeah, sorry if you're in the south, you missed me. But
what kind of music is that, Alan?
Well, they call it Americana, but let's call it sort of folk country storytelling, singer-songwriter. Right. I've got a great 5-piece band. I love to sing stupid songs about beer and
a lovely song about Susan.
Oh yes, I've got a crush on Susie K. People love that.
What's your best beer song?
It's For the Love of Lager.
Okay. Is it written from each personal experience?
It is written from personal experience. It's written to ridicule the fact that there are too many boutique beers in the world, and lager should be made from 3 or 4 ingredients, and that's it. None of this IPA and APA.
I did a bit of testing myself last night. It was very good. But, official news, beer is nice, everybody.
So I sing about language, but I also sing poignant songs about my mum who's not with me anymore, but kind of is with me, and beautiful songs about love. I write a lot of love songs, Danny. I'm a big old sook.
Yeah, I don't suppose there'll be much love in the game that's coming up on Monday between your Liverpool and Newcastle.
No.
Because Liverpool have shaken Newcastle's tree rather ferociously in this close season. Is that fair?
That's fair to say, and it'll be interesting to see whether Isaac's wearing what shirt he's wearing.
Yeah.
I don't think
he'd be anywhere near the ground.
You'll be wearing a Marks and Spencer shirt in the stand somewhere.
It'll be a relief for everybody when the whole transfer window closes. It always is, because it just, in the end, every fan, you just hate it. It drives you potty.
Totally.
Just to remind people, of course, that Newcastle against Liverpool, you know what I'm going to say next, because it's inevitable, it's the right thing, is live on talkSPORT, your home of live football. All these big games are. And the ones that we don't talk about is the ones we ain't got the rights to. The little games.
That's how it works.
The Trek, yes, absolutely. Alan, what are you going to do once the Neighbours thing is gone? I asked this question because it has been your life. Let's be truthful about that.
It has been.
And, there's only so many days you can sing about lager. Let's say 350 in the year. What are you going to do with the other fortnight?
Well, I tell you, I will be doing a lot of music, Danny. I've been performing now, touring the UK, playing rock and roll and playing this sort of style of music now since 2005. I'll be planning to be back here a lot.
Yeah.
I would expect to be here looking for work as well. If there's any agents out there who want to give me a call, just ring me care of Andy. And
could be Strictly.
Could be. No, I don't know about that. Not with my 2 left feet. No, I will be focusing a lot on the music. It's a great passion of mine.
And finally, are you? It's no problem if you aren't. Are you a cricket fan?
I am a big cricket fan.
What do we think is going to happen in the Ashes in a few months' time?
I think there's going to be a resounding win for Australia, and I'm so sorry to say that.
Yes, and I suspect you're right, but that's another story.
Do you get to the Melbourne Test?
I do. That's very Boxing Day, opening day.
It's a big special thing, isn't it?
It's a big special thing. I was there when Warney, only second last game, and McGrath's second last game, and Warney got to his record. It was an amazing day. I mean, so much happens on the opening day for Boxing Day. You've got to go.
And I must say, it's probably a good thing for me, because it forces me not to drink so much lovely lager on Christmas Day, because I want to watch the opening overs.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll try and pack. My house will be full of relatives. We always have 2 dozen. And I'll be packing them off quite. Oh, you should have a little lie down now, love.
Strauss get out firstborn one Ashes. I remember that. Disaster. And of course, your photography, which you should mention.
Yes, I've been a photographer for many, many years, travel photography and so forth. So that will be a big focus for me as well. I love to travel. I love to get around the world, and I love to get around this beautiful country as well, which I'm going to.
And you love Andy, so it's all brilliant.
It's all perfect.
Listen,
I'm hoping off air you're going to tell me what happens.
We won't get many more chances to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Fletcher from Neighbours. Thank you very much for coming and joining us here on talkSPORT.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans that's done by the fans.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
You don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Well, you've been listening all week, and if you haven't, why haven't you? You'll know that we've been bringing you all the big races from the Ebor meeting at York. It is, of course, the premier flat race meeting in the north of England this time of year. We're going to go over there now for the 150 race. That is the Sky Bet handicap, and we're joining our commentators. You've heard them all week. Doing a great job. Louis Stewart and Rupert Bell.
Yep, thank you, Danny. It's a chilly day here. Bit of a stiff breeze sweeping across the Naves Mile. Louis Stewart alongside me for this mile and 4 furlong handicap. It looks Mount Atlas a strong favourite here, Louis.
Yeah, Mount Atlas is a horse that's been in form all year, very consistent, although he hasn't been winning apart from his last time out performance. He is a hold-up horse, so expect him to come from slightly further back. And there's actually a few here that are fancied in the running that could come from a bit further back in the field.
Yeah, one of those could be Nakib. They're all set. There's 10 runners for this race. The Songs for You is a non-runner, and James Doyle has had to miss today's meeting again. He's got a bit of a virus, so it is Danny Tudhope who's now riding French Duke and actually picking up a few rides later on today. But they've gone through the first furlong, and it is Mount Atlas who is taking them along, and on the outside of that one we can see Nakib is in a prominent position. Champagne Prince is also trying to get forward to the leading duet. On the inside of that one is Chillingham, and it's definitely chilly today. It doesn't feel like high summer. Then there's a little gap back to Zandabad, the Irish raider trained by Tony Martin, such a huge trainer. Just taking a keen hold at the back is Mahaba the champion. French Duke is the back marker, but a pretty even pace early on, being set by the favourite.
Yes, Mount Atlas actually took a different kind of approach to this race. Oisin Murphy normally holds this horse up. He's seen that there's no pace on paper, and he decided to go forward. Tactically, Oisin Murphy's very good from the front, so be careful.
Well, the rest will be keeping him in his slipstream, and the Ryan Sexton's doing exactly that on board Nakib. And then taking a keen hold in third is Chillingham for the mount of Holly Doyle. Then there's trailing that one is Champagne Prince, and then there's probably a 3-length gap to the remaining field. It's headed by Zandabad, and on the outside of that one is Asgard's Captain. Now they're making the turn into the long straight here and just cranking up the pace a little bit. Oisin Murphy on board Mount Atlas.
Yeah, tactically Oisin Murphy looks very in control of this race. Nakib, Rupert's picking this, is poised in position to shoot when he wants to. Ryan Sexton takes a ride on Nakib. He's in a very good position. David Egan already niggling away, but Oisin Murphy in control of this race so far.
And niggling away on Champagne Prince, but Oisin Murphy still leading by half a length. Nakib on the outside, Champagne Prince. French Duke starting to pick up wide on the outside and could be about to throw down a challenge. Nakib is under pressure now and looks as if race has run, but out in front now picking up is Chillingham, has got the advantage. Champagne Prince is running a big race on the outside. French Duke trying to pick up. Mount Atlas's race is run, but out in front still Chillingham and Holly Doyle out in front, but Champagne Prince is quickening up, and David Egan, and coming out of the pack is Insanity, and Insanity is sweeping hard, fast, wide on the outside. Asgard's Captain is coming. It's a two-way go for the line, and it looks as, oh, that's close, but I think Asgard's Captain captain has snatched it. John Egan on the line. That was a thriller, with Insanity looking having made a winning move, but then suddenly Asgard's captain flies on the outside, and probably Louis has won by a head.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that, you know, the horses that could be winning this race might come from further back. Oisin Murphy took a different role and a different approach to today's race, but Asgard's captain, one of the bottom weighted horses in this race, only carrying 8 stone 9 pounds, comes and swoops late, nabs it on the line.
Well, very disappointing in the end. The change of tactics didn't work for Mount Atlas, but for John Egan, plenty of experience there. Dad of David Egan, and Champagne Prince was the man of David Egan. Looked as if that horse had made a winning move. But the first race, just waiting for confirmation, has gone to the Dylan Cooner trained Asgard's captain, ridden by John Egan.
Guys, what I know about horse racing, you could write on the back of a stamp, leaving room for the 10 Commandments, but for 4 horses to lead at different times in the last half furlong, pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the race kind of developed out of nowhere, to be honest. There was 2 packs down the back straight, and Oisin Murphy looked to have control of this race, and you know, he is a champion jockey. He's ridden 13 winners in the last 2 weeks, so a jockey in form. And the old wily fox John Egan, he's nearly as old as Rupert, and he's gone and got the job done.
Thank you very much, Louis.
Tremendous. Very nice
cheeky boy.
Rupert, I was reading about Aidan O'Brien. He's been very critical of the racing. What's he unhappy about?
Well, I think a style of racing, maybe. We know all these pacemakers, but he's part of the problem. Aidan O'Brien, I'm not sure what he's got to complain about, because he's got everything. He controls basically flat racing. What he does, everyone else sort of follows suit. But maybe the programme, just all sorts of things make it quite hard for him, probably, to how he sort of moves his surfeit of riches around. So interesting development. Aidan O'Brien, if he's saying something and criticising, it's about the first thing he ever said, because when you interview him, he accessed the square root of NAF all.
Yes, that question went very well there, didn't it, Andy? Absolutely well. Listen, guys, we got 3 more races here today, the 2:25, the 3 o'clock, 3:35. What are you looking forward to in those?
Oh, it's such competitive days of racing, guys. The Longdale's Cup in the 2:25. Trawlerman is an absolute superstar in the Godolphin Blue. William Buick takes the ride on him. He was a very impressive winner of the Ascot Gold Cup, so he comes here after a nice break. And a few years back, there was a horse called Quickthorn at big odds. Managed to rout the field here in the same race when he went about 10-12 lengths clear around the whole of the racetrack and managed to hang on. So Trawlerman expect a very forceful approach in this race.
And the big runners at 3:35, and I'm hopeful that my brother Spicy Marg, a 2-year-old taking on the older horses, they've supplemented this horse for the race, will run a big race at a big price. They've taken a bit of a gamble putting the horse in, because the older, obviously 2-year-olds, they get a big weight allowance, so it's a sporting gesture from my brother, and hopefully Spicy Marg will run a big race. So I might be getting quite emotional. It only lasts a minute, but if Spicy Marg wins, prepare for a meltdown.
The voice to go. If the voice goes, I'll do my best.
Yeah, you could do the final.
It's a pretty horse racy sort of day here on Kelly and Jacobs. So we've got 3 more races to come, and then towards the end of the show, Rupert, you may want to wear a steel helmet. We're doing the Clips of the Week horse racing special. I have to say, I wet myself laughing earlier on.
It's not all you, Rupert.
It's not all you, Rupert. There's at least 2 that aren't you, to be fair. Yeah.
Oh, good. Does Louis feature on his debut?
No. Bit of Lizzie, bit of Tomo.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
The usual suspects, I think, is fair to say, Rupert. Very, very enjoyable. I can't wait to play that out. So somewhere in the last 20 minutes of the show. But of course, before that, we're going to have a lot of horse racing with both Rupert and Louis. We'll also try and discover what they did last night, because that usually involves some kind of haute, not cuisine, was it? Haute cuisine adventure. It does, yeah.
Cordon bleu.
I thought it was going to be fashion there. Listen, Racing TV is the only channel showing every race live from the Ebor Festival there at York. This week only, you can join for just £12 per month. Head to racing.com, racingtv.com. I'll read that again. Head to racingtv.com/Ebor now for details. I've put it on the official talkSPORT weighing scales. There is a ton of stuff to get through in the second hour of today's show. Before that, though, let's get some news with Ben Fletcher.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. Eddie Howe upset, but still wants Alexander Isak in his Newcastle team.
I don't think it had to be this way. It's disappointing that I'm having to sort of discuss it every press conference at length and taking away from, as I said, the football. We've got Liverpool coming up in 2 days' time, 3 days' time, and that's going to be a tougher game without having any distraction around us.
Newcastle versus Liverpool is live on talkSPORT on Monday night. Howe says the Toon were justified in responding publicly to Isak's demands to be let go, but he'd have preferred this dirty laundry to be kept private. Next, Forest have dismissed reports they're considering sacking Nuno Espirito Santo as wide of the mark. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook says friction between manager and owner is inevitable.
Both Marinakis and Nuno can be quite volatile. Sometimes that will work in Forest's favour because I think Marinakis doesn't necessarily want a yes man working underneath him, but it's also going to mean there are going to be clashes in personality along the way.
Ruben Dias has signed a contract extension at Manchester City for another 4 years. Dias says Manchester is his home now and wants to win more trophies for the fans. This, as Pep has confirmed, he'll have both Rodri and Phil Foden available to face Tottenham tomorrow lunchtime, live here on talkSPORT. Ipswich have completed the signing of forward Casey McAteer from Leicester. The 23-year-old joins Ipswich on a 4-year deal, and Rod Petrie has died aged 69. The former Hibs chairman and Scottish FA president spent almost 30 years at Easter Road, during which time Hibs won the Scottish Cup and League Cup. The SFA says Rod brought passion to every debate and will be missed by all. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
For the first time, a famine has been officially declared in Gaza City by a UN-backed report, and the Home Office are appealing the High Court's ruling stopping asylum seekers being housed in an Essex hotel. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cooler and cloudier across central areas with the odd spot of drizzle, otherwise mostly dry with warm sunny spells.
Okay, I was expecting music there, but none has been. Oh, it's coming. Shut up, Danny. Yeah, the more vintage of you will recognise that as the Skids Into the Valley. And they are part of the... I'm going to be the last, Andy, of my postcards from Ireland in just a few minutes' time. A shorter one, but just to bring it to a proper end. I hope people have enjoyed it through the summer. What have you got for us in the meanwhile? This is where we were all going to do Grumble in the Jungle, but you're not very grumbly today. You've just got nice things to tell us.
I tell you what's interesting there. Somebody's just put this statistic up. Everybody goes on about how much money Chelsea spend.
Oh, here we go.
Their net spend is this season is 30th amongst clubs. Is lower than Wrexham. That's how many players they've sold. They've sold a lot.
Yes, they've sold £250 million.
That's really what you should look at. You should always look at net spend rather than anything else, I think. But there you go.
Thank you, Your Honour. Yes, I'll try and look for that, yeah.
A jeweller has offered the England batsman Jacob Bethel an ounce of gold for every 100 he scores. But since the bloke never plays red ball cricket, I think they're quite safe. That was quite a safe thing. You could have given them 2 ounces of gold for everything.
I've lost all track of the price of gold, Andy. I have no idea whether that's a good price.
$3,340 an ounce.
Okay, so it's still pricey enough, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so, that's a good incentive for him.
Will Bethel go to Australia?
He will, yeah. He's a great prospect.
I want Cox to go.
I want Rayan Ahmed to go.
Yeah, so do I. Well, we're picking the team. Lovely.
Well, Rayan Ahmed's got to go. His county form's great. He can bowl leg spin. I think, you want him there.
Yeah. Have you got anything else? Or
what else have I got? Yes. Well, carry on. You carry on and I'll have a look.
All right. Well,
it's coming up with something suitable.
Okay. Well, as you know, if you've been listening, the boys have done me the honour throughout the summer, because normally I cover the Premier League on a Monday. On the Mondays, I've been doing a 10-minute slot called, Postcard from Ireland. We've been talking about Irish football largely and Irish sport. It's been a comedy slot largely, but some interesting stories. I'm going to do another one now just to round it out, Andy. And there's some brilliant things I want to tell you about. I'm going to end with a really, really fantastic story. First of all, I've been banging on all through the summer, as you know, Andy, about Bohemians and how they make all their money from their shirts.
They do.
Because they throw out special limited editions.
Bob Marley one last year.
They had Bob Marley.
Yeah,
they've had Fontaine's DC. They've done a lot of things, and I'll tell you about another one in just a second. But finally, Peter thought, oh, that's a good idea. Dunfermline, their new third kit. We heard a little second ago, the Skids Into the Valley. Well, that's off their album Scared to Dance. The Skids were a post-punk band who largely morphed into Big Country eventually. And the new Dunfermline kit has the cover of Scared to Dance. And that's quite an obscure record, but it's very nice. And the collar inside says Into the Valley and all the rest of it. So they've done that. And Dunfermline are amazed that it's sold out. I'm not, because this has been a great idea that Bohemians have really kind of pioneered. Speaking of Bohemians, I should make the point as well that in their recent FA Cup game in Ireland, where they took on Sligo, their training tops had an image of Suleiman Al-Obeid. You'll know he's the man that they call the Palestinian Pele, who was killed in Gaza. It's a terrible story, but they had that. Now, the next thing I want to tell you about, Andy, is that Shamrock Rovers, they're still, of course, qualifying for things like this as the Europa League. They beat Santa Clara by 3-1 during the week, so to give themselves a good chance. It was an away game, Andy, in the most westerly ground in European football. Santa Clara is in the Azores, so they had to fly to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Wow. Yeah. There are two teams in the islands currently in the Portuguese top league, but they're in Madeira. It's not so far away. But Santa Clara in the second tier of Portuguese football, and they are about 2,000 kilometres out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Did they take any away fans?
Now, I don't know that, but I can measure this for you. The last time an Irish team had to go there, Larne went there. They brought 19 fans. And when they were interviewed on Irish television, and I remember this distinctly, it turns out they hadn't come as a package. They'd all individually made their way to the Azores.
Brilliant.
Some of them may have been working hotels and bars there, but there were 19. I should tell you, we started this whole performance, Andy, with the madness of the Champions League draw, which led to a team from the Northern Ireland League and the team from the Republic playing each other. If you remember, Shelbourne played Linfield. It was a real big deal. Well, in the intervening weeks, those two teams have tumbled out of the Champions League into the qualifiers for the Europa League. They've tumbled out of that now, and they've met each other again in the qualifiers for the conference.
Is that how it works? You keep going. Yeah. I didn't think they would, because once it started, you can't transfer from one.
No, you can't. But the qualifiers are very complicated.
Oh, right.
And one of the reasons why this draw was almost inevitable, bizarrely, Andy, is that there are so many flashpoints, political flashpoints in Europe. So many countries that won't play against each other, that in an amazing turnaround, one of the safest fixtures is teams from the north versus teams from the south of Ireland. Incidentally, during the week, Shelbourne won the first leg by 3-1 in a great game, Andy. 3 penalties, 2 of them missed, a red card. It was an absolute madhouse. All of which, first of all, I want to get on to the big story I want to finish with. I want to thank my brother John, who is an Irish football fanatic and has supplied me with most of these stories during the course of the summer for almost no payment. There'll be some vinyl records changing hands very soon. But Andy, I want to end the whole series, and thank you and Paul for letting me do it, with the story of Stephen Bradley. Stephen Bradley is the best and most famous manager in Irish football. He has won 4 of the last 5 titles with Shamrock Rovers. Still a very young man. He's now 10 points clear. And as we get towards the end of the Irish season, it's the Summer League, of course, he's going to win his 5th title. It will take him level with Stephen, with Kenny and one other person whose name I can't remember, with 5 titles. But I guess he won't be counting these titles as any big deal, because wonderfully this week, his young son Josh, after 3 years of treatment, they all had to go to the big hospital in Dublin, and they rang the bell because he's been getting treatment for cancer. But Josh Bradley, son of Stephen Bradley, the most successful manager in Irish football, this week got the all clear from what has been a tremendous, I don't like that word battle, it's like you couldn't win, it's not a war, but a tremendous amount of treatment. Bless both of them and bless the Bradley family. And that's it for Postcard from Ireland till probably next year. Who knows whether we'll be back again. And thank you all for listening. And also, thanks for the very, very kind comments I've had about it from people who said, I know nothing about Irish football, but
it's been fun.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been really,
I've tried to make it interesting to everybody.
I'll tell you what I did find surprising this week, though. Did you see the story about Mark Goldbridge, the YouTuber, who you always turn to when Manchester United concede? It's always very amusing.
Yes.
And he has a tremendous following.
He used to be a policeman.
I don't know, his real name, I didn't know, is Brent de Cesare.
Okay, he's Italian.
Well, obviously. But how did he pick Mark Goldbridge? How does that work? How did you go from Brent de Cesare to Mark Goldbridge?
Well, I think also, how has he gone from being a police officer to a bloke who shouts so very loudly about Manchester United?
You've got to hand it to him, though. He's got a big following.
Yeah, I know.
It's on the Schadenfreude level, though. It's the only time I ever watch it. But it's good for that.
I mean, how much time do you spend? We talked about this very, very briefly back in the office. I mean, there's no point in pretending the young people have got this right. Things like TikTok are absolutely addictive. Something will come up in my, my old people Twitter feed. That's what old people use now, isn't it? Twitter
and Facebook.
And Facebook, yeah. I'm not on MySpace anymore, and I don't use FreeServe. And I'll get taken onto a very short film on TikTok, and then I realise it's 45 minutes later, and I've watched 20.
You can't stop spooling.
Constantly.
I ended up following this. I don't know how this happened. This rugby player, American rugby player. Do you know about this person? Ilona Mayer, I think her name is. She's massive, 10 million followers on TikTok. But she's an American rugby union player. I think she's going to play tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now then, as you know, Friday, among the many things, as well as clips of the week, there's also the Fools panel. We need you to come on and take on me and Andy and Ian Danta and Tony Cascarino is going to be on it as well. One member of the public, please. It's at 2:45, so you can't be, obviously if you're supposed to be working at 2:45, working on Friday, come off it. If you're supposed to be working
from home.
Yeah, it's no good at all. But if you're around at 2:45, want to take part in the Fools panel, 03717 22 3344. That's 03717 22 3344. Come on here, thrash the pants off the experts. That's what I advise you to do.
is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans that's done by the fans.
Yes! Goal! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences. That.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
You don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Yeah, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range. In store, on app and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Now, we've just been hearing the press conferences involving Premier League managers, Nuno, Thomas Frank, etc. Are starting to drift in some really interesting stuff from those. We'll be talking to Tony Cascarino, the former Chelsea Millwall forward, very soon about that. But first, let's turn our attention to cricket. The cricket's going on at the moment. Of course, the 100 is in full swing. Amazing finish last night involving the Oval Invincibles, who are the best team, it looks like.
The Trent Rockets.
Sorry, and the Trent Rockets, who are the second best team. But also, of course, we're building up, whether we like it or not, to the Ashes. Among those who are probably hoping to go, England and Surrey fast bowler Jamie Overton. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, how are you?
Really good. In fact, thank you very much for joining us here on talkSPORT. I mean, I don't know if he's an expert, Jamie, but we just had Alan Fletcher, the actor from Neighbours, in the studio, and he's Australian, of course. He's fully expecting a resounding Australian victory in the winter. I bet you don't agree with that.
No, absolutely not. I think it's going to be pretty close. Obviously, they've got, I think, Test cricket around the world now is everyone generally wins at home or has a very good chance of winning at home, and then it's just if you can sort of adapt to the conditions well enough. But I think we've got a great chance. We've got sort of a squad that's quite settled in what's going on. So fingers crossed we can put in a great performance this winter.
You're wearing your London Spirit hat there. We'll get onto the 100 in a second. But since we're talking about Test cricket, you've just finished playing the series against India, which may well have been one of the best series in living memory.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably up there with the 2005 Ashes. Probably
absolutely
one of the better ones since then. So it was a great series to be involved with. Shame we couldn't quite get over the line, but a great series to be involved with.
That final morning, that hour was just something only Test cricket can give you. That it was so special. I mean, of course, he gutted that England didn't win, but in the end, it was just a brilliant bit of theatre, and to get a crowd like that for an hour's play was amazing. What was fascinating, though, Jamie, was the fact that the 100 started the next day, and you thought, oh, blimey, this is a bit of an anticlimax. But actually, once you get into it, I think it's improved. And I watched the game yesterday, and 23,000 people at the Oval really enjoying themselves.
No, absolutely. I think you can go from one format to the other, and it has different sort of values, and the way it comes across to people is completely different. Like Test cricket it can be a slow burner at times, but you can also get the thrilling moments like the day 5 of that Test match, and then T20. Some games might not be the greatest, and then some games like last night can be one of the greatest in the world. So that's just cricket, and you just never really know what you're going to get. I think that's what draws people to it.
And what about the players? I mean, people like yourself who play across all the formats. Do you have to get into a different frame of mind for Test cricket? I mean, physically, obviously, it's a slog, but or is it all just that that's the everyday grist for professional cricketers now? One day you'll be playing 20 overs, one day you'll be playing 5 days, and it's all just part of the game now.
Yeah, it's a little bit part of the game, but I think it's probably more physically draining Test cricket, whereas T20 can be a bit more mentally stuff, I think, at times. Because games come thick and fast in T20, and you just got to try and get yourself up for them. But then obviously it's one of those people say, "Oh, you're preparing professional sport. You should just get up for it all the time." But It's tricky at times, but I think you've just got to try and be as prepared for everything, or prepared for all the formats you're going to play, because it is not easy, but the best players trying to adapt as quickly as possible, and the ones that aren't quite as good, they're probably the ones that are a little bit slower. But yeah, it's tricky, but you've got to try and find a way.
What the 5-test series against India showed, though, is that you do need backup, especially in the fast bowling department, and we need Wood and Archer to be fit, bowlers like yourself to back them up. I mean, we can't just rely on sort of like Statham and Truman like they used to do in the old days. You know, that's a long way back, or even Broad and Anderson to an extent. You do need a whole battery of fast bowlers now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sort of the way cricket's going it's hard to say, it's becoming more physical, but it feels like I feel like it's potentially more draining nowadays than potentially it was in the past, but it's hard to say because I obviously didn't play. But yeah, cricket is quite tiring. I think the wicket's potentially a bit harder now than they used to be, which takes more stress out of the bowlers. And so yeah, you need to have your battery of quicks to potentially rotate and sort of go to war with.
The back-to-back tests, I think it's the problem more than anything. In the older days, it used to take 6 weeks to get
them all into a month now. It's a problem. Jamie, what's the schedule like now? When will you know if you'll be going? It might be so bold to ask you that.
I don't have a clue, to be honest. We've still got some white ball stuff to finish after the 100. We've got a series against South Africa and then some T20s against Ireland. And then there's New Zealand series for white ball cricket as well before the tour even starts in Australia. So there's still loads of cricket to go, and people can still put their names in the hat. I think probably the tour, the squad probably get announced probably early October, mid-October, I guess. I actually don't know. So it's completely guess from me, so that could be completely wrong, but we'll just sort of wait and see.
And I've got to ask you about the captain. I mean, Ben Stokes, he is an astonishing competitor and an astonishing cricketer as well. But his body is held together these days, I think, sometimes with baling wire. How important is it he is not only on the plane, but in absolutely peak condition for the winter?
Yeah, it's massive. He does both aspects of the game to the highest standard. So if you lose him, you kind of need to replace him with two players. So yeah, it's crucial he's there, but he's doing the rehab at the moment to get his shoulder back to where he needs to be. And then I saw him a couple of days ago when we played against the Superchargers. He was there coaching and stuff. So he's in great space, and he's very much looking forward and getting ready to be playing there in the first test in Australia.
And I guess the last one I'd ask you is about Jofra Archer, only because maybe I don't know my backside from my elbow, but I didn't really ever expect to see him bowling quickly again after so long working himself back into the red ball game. And yet in the series against India, there he was hurtling the thing down at 92 miles an hour. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, Joff's had a turbulent sort of 4 or 5 years, but knowing him and knowing how he reacts to things, he was always planning to come back and play Test cricket. It was just a matter of time and getting his body in the right place, and the pace was always going to be there because he's naturally just got those abilities. So yeah, it's great to have him back in around the squad, and playing those 2 tests in India, he certainly made a difference in those ones. So they'll be looking to keep him ready for the Ashes, that's for sure.
Well, look, Jamie, all I can do is wish you best of luck for the rest of the season and then for the winter as well. Thank you very much for joining us here on talkSPORT.
Thank you very much.
Jamie Overton, who I think will probably make the squad for the Ashes. And for all the best cricket comment and content, go to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. It's full of brilliant stuff. Now let's get ourselves back to more live sport. The second big race of the day for us at York, the Weatherby's Lonsdale Cup Stakes. They're getting the horses ready to race. Let's get over to our commentary team, Louis Stewart and Rupert Bell.
Yeah, welcome back. This is a race over an extended 2 miles, basically doing over a circuit of the Knavesmire, and it's headed in the market by the Ascot Gold Cup hero, Trawlerman, trained by John and Tady Gosden, the man of William Buick. It's the hot favourite here. Louis, you obviously know Dubai Future well. You were riding the horse before you came up to York. You were giving him a school, so any chance for the outsider?
Yeah, well, hopefully I've schooled him to perfection here, Rupert. Obviously, he's one of the outsiders of the field, but but a horse that has bags of speed, and as these horses get slightly older, Dubai Future is 9 now, stepping them up in trip can normally be the right way to go.
Well, good luck to Dubai Future, but Trawlerman's the one they've all got to beat. Al Kareem looks an interesting contender. Sweet William, he comes from the same stable as Trawlerman, the John and Teddy Gosden combination, and Aidan O'Brien's got a 3-year-old in this race, Shackleton. Those are the 6. They're all in stalls right in front of the pack grandstand here, and they're off and racing. And Trawlerman dawdles into the front here. I think that would be the best way of describing it. And Shackleton and Wayne Lorden are deciding, well, this is a little too slow as they ease past the winning post. So they've barely got out of a canter through the first furlong. And Trawlerman is half a length up behind Shackleton. Then it's Al Kareem. On the inside of that one is Sweet William. Only last year's runner-up, and your mount, Dubai Future, is in the rear. But this is a slow start, Louis.
Yeah, a sedate gallop that could quite, in fact, suit the outside of Dubai Future. He's a horse that doesn't stay as far as a few of these, so his turn of foot will be potent up the home straight. But William Buick takes back off Shackleton, that now makes the running, and Trawlerman is in second, Al Kareem third. Sweet William, the horse that's usually second best to Trawlerman, is in fourth.
Well, Al Kareem taking a bit of a keen hold early on. Looks as if Clifford Lee would like to go a good deal faster than he currently is. So leading them is Shackleton, half a length up from the Gold Cup winner, Trawlerman, as they make the turn into the back straight on the Knave Smire. And Trawlerman, being restrained, is definitely an easy start to this race. They're not going quick at all. And when will we see an injection of pace? What would you expect the tactics to be from here on in, Louis?
Well, William Buick is poised in the perfect position to let Trawlerman stretch when he wants to. I always find, from a jockey's point of view, sat on the girths of the leader is usually 9 times out of 10 the best place to be. William Buick can now control this race and inject the pace when he wants to.
Well, Shackleton is out in front, ridden by Derby winning jockey Wayne Lorden, and William Buick is doing what Louis said. He has quickened up at the front to go side by side with Shackleton, and then side by side we have Sweet William and Al Kareem, and side by side in 5th and 6th we have Dubai Future and Al Nair. So 3 groups of 2, but the first group sees Trawlerman probably just shading it, but they really are racing side by side, Shackleton and Trawlerman. But as you said, Louis, the pace now is on, and they've quickened up to around about 37 miles an hour.
Yeah, Shackleton looks like he probably can't go much quicker than what he is now. William Buick with an absolute handful in second, as is Al Kareem. Dubai Future switched off lovely at the rear of the field. Al Nair as well. So now coming off the bridle, Sweet William in a good position to challenge down the inside there. But Shackleton looks like he has not too much more to give, and Trawlerman could be the class horse now.
Well, Trawlerman and William Buick have now starting to take it up, and Shackleton is being rousted along by Wayne Lorden, and William Buick is getting to work on Trawlerman. Said, right, come on, kick on from here. Al Kareem is trying to pick up. Al Nair, last year's runner-up, is in there, and Dubai Future is still in with a squeak here, and does seem to be travelling really well, the 9-year-old. But Trawlerman, he's tough out in front. We saw that at Ascot, and he's doing the same. The other 5 are all ganging behind. Sweet William's not without a chance. Shackleton's race is run. Dubai Future is picking up. Louis getting excited. On this near side, Al Nair's running a big race. It's not plain sailing for Trawlerman at the moment, because Sweet William is rousting. Al Nair on this near side. Dubai Future trying to pick up, but Trawlerman is proving all heart at the moment. Sweet William coming through now, but no, Trawlerman has found an extra gear to just hold off. He had to be really tough. It's a 1-2 for John and Thady Gosden, but Trawlerman just hung in there and said, I'm going to not get past, and he showed all the resilience that we saw at Ascot, and he's proved it once again.
Yes, tough, gritty and tenacious. Trawlerman is the best in this division now. We've lost Kyprios. He was given a great ride by William Buick, always poised and ready to shoot. Sweet William again, second best as he usually is, and this race was not set up for a stayer at all. It was run at a very sedate gallop the whole way round, but Trawlerman, a touch of class, gets him home in front.
Well, Trawlerman takes the Lonsdale Cup, the 5-6 favourite, but I'm sure odds-on backers would just had an anxious moment, maybe with a furlong to go. But we know Trawlerman is one of the gutsiest horses in training, and he's showed his resilience to beat his stable companion, Sweet William, who never seems to run a bad race, but he just doesn't have the ability to overhaul a horse of Trawlerman's class. So good performance from Trawlerman.
Good race.
Yes, and thank you both. The next race, of course, we'll be bringing you will be the Jim Crack. at 3 o'clock here on talkSPORT. Yeah, another good race. So you do occasionally bet on the horses, don't you?
I do. Well, if Rupert says something like we've supplemented the horse, his brother's supplemented the horse in the 3:35, I thought, well, I'll have a fight.
What's that mean? He's giving him extra apples or something?
No, it means you've paid to be in the race.
Oh, I see.
So you wouldn't pay to be in the race unless you thought you had
a decent chance, of course.
So,
well, let me remind you about the racing.
Spicy Marg, if you're interested.
And I've actually put a comma into this, which I've been misreading all week. Racing TV is the only channel showing every race live from the Ebor Festival at York. This week only, you can join for just £12 per month. Head to racingtv.com/Ebor for all the details.
Eddie Howe says if there's one thing he could change about this summer, it's keeping the Isak saga behind closed doors.
In this situation, the club has spoken, and probably justifiably so in that moment.
Newcastle will be without the striker for Monday's clash with Liverpool, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Another man who's going nowhere is Ruben Dias. He's signed a fresh contract with Man City, lasting until 2029. City face Tottenham tomorrow lunchtime, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Now, Forest have rejected claims that Nuno Espirito Santo could be sacked. Reports in Italy suggest Evangelos Marinakis has had enough and wants to get rid. But talkSPORT's Alex Crook says he's been told that's a no, but isn't surprised at friction between the manager and owner.
Both Marinakis and Nuno can be quite volatile. Sometimes that will work in Forest's favour because I think Marinakis doesn't necessarily want a yes man working underneath him, but it's also going to mean there are going to be clashes in personality along the way.
And is there a defensive crisis emerging at Crystal Palace? Oliver Glasner says there will be if Mark Gahey leaves this summer. And then, well, desperate times call for desperate measures.
We have no centre-back available at the moment. And if Mark leaves, okay, maybe I will try my boots because I was a centre-back and this could be a good option.
Get more on talksport.com.
I can't wait for the return of the NFL. We'll talk to Todd Macklin about that a little later in today's edition of Kelly and Jacobs. But now there's only a few days left, as I say, to enter our VIP competition as the NFL returns to Wembley in October. The Los Angeles Rams take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're giving you the chance to win 6 seats in a private box with full hospitality, plus $5,000 spending money. It all ends on Monday, so you've got to be quick. Here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word cash to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by 25th August at 11 p.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
Okay, weekend's football coming up. We'll have the Fools panel very, very soon. First, though, let's get the views of the former Chelsea. I like to say Millwall centre forward as well, yes, Tony Cascarino. Hello, Cass.
Andy, Danny, you okay?
Yeah, really good. Delighted to see you there on the screen. And what colour are you describing those glasses as?
A type of green, Danny.
Yeah,
greeny blue.
Tony's wearing very fashionable spectacle frames, and mine are clear, and Andy's a kind of, I suppose they're rose, are they, Andy? Yours?
Yeah.
But Cass is a kind of jade. Very, very nice indeed. Tony, listen, the managers have been having their say. Let's get your reaction to some of the things they've been saying. The Spurs boss, Thomas Frank, was speaking today for the first time since Ebere Eze snubbed Spurs for Arsenal this week, and he made it clear where he stood on the whole thing.
I don't know about whoever the player is, whoever they support. I actually do not care too much about, because we all have a past. The main thing is if the player want to come or not want to come. So if they are from Spain, Denmark, Brazil, doesn't matter. If they want to come, perfect.
I mean, what else he was going to say, Tony, to be honest?
Say, really?
Yes, it's always a tough one, Dan. You lose players, obviously.
I've taken it very well, Tony.
Well, you could make the point that's a valid one, that Tottenham could have probably got this done a lot earlier.
Yep.
It's a difficult one, because once the Havertz injury happened at Old Trafford, it makes you pretty sure that Arsenal were in contact with Palace straight away. And as it led up to the European game, that obviously, as they didn't play, you just knew that could be a possibility because of the injury, and a signing that they can snatch off Spurs. I doubt it's as bad as Sol Campbell, Danny, because that was a lot of time.
No, of course not. And thanks for bringing it up as well. I now think your glasses are horrible.
You've had a little bit of Newcastle experience, haven't you, where they've chased a number of players, haven't got them over the line.
Well,
you likewise. But I'm totally with him. I'm totally with Thomas Frank. Players have got to go and want to play it.
Absolutely. That part of it is undeniable. And of course, the gods of football, thinking that Spurs fans hadn't had their backside kicked enough by the Eze thing falling through, we now hear that Kulusevski's out till next year.
Wow.
So both the clubs, number 10s, Kulusevski and Maddison, are both out for half the season in one case and the whole season in the other. Let's move on.
Danny,
Sorry?
I just want to add to that, Danny. Look, you work on European football on the Trans Euro Express. You know that there's loads of great players all around Europe. If you've got 60 million to spend right at the end of the window, you can certainly buy a very good player to come in.
I agree with that.
Yeah, some of them
There's
are
still a lot of good players.
Paz. I'd like to watch the boy Paz, because he's half owned by Real Madrid, who will want him back at some stage. But we'll see about all of that. Meanwhile,
I'm intrigued by the Forest Palace game this weekend, because neither manager are happy.
Well, listen, we've already heard from Oliver Glasner earlier in the show, but listen to this, Andy and Cass. Forest boss Nuno Espirito Santo has also been speaking today on the change in his relationship with owner Evangelos Marinakis.
Look, I always had a very good relationship with the owner. Last season was very, very, very close, almost daily basis. This season, not so well. But I always believe that dialogue and what you say or your opinion is always valid, because my concern is the squad and the season that we have ahead of us. But our relations has changed.
It's changed?
Yeah, it's not so close. It's not on a daily basis. So, yeah.
Is that a good thing, though? Or?
No, it's not good. It's not good. I think everybody at the club should should be together, but it's not the reality.
He won't be
Do you
there.
want me to sign this suicide note? Yeah?
Yeah, really. That's quite a shock, isn't it?
That's
It's
an
obviously
amazing thing to say, Tony.
Yes, and you have to be very careful in scenarios like this because Marinakis is quite liable to take it a bit further. As in, he's Bernard Tapie. I was under Ken Bates, as Andy would know, at Chelsea. Quite a feisty chairman, more like Tapie in Marseille, that just said what he thought. And managers, he was once asked the question, why does he keep sacking so many coaches? And he said, I don't. And then they said, well, you do. And he went, no, I'm the coach. And he was the president. You know, that's what he was like. And I think Marinakis is a guy that's going to always have difficulties in relationships with managers if he doesn't agree with what they're doing, because Forest fans love him. He's took the club a hell of a long way. He's invested a lot of money. So there's lots of good things in there. But I think this will always be his Achilles heel, his relationship with his actual manager.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, he had Steve Cooper. It worked in the Championship. It didn't work in the Premier League. He brought in Nuno. I mean, he's done a brilliant job. I'd be really worried if I was a Forest fan that it does look like the relationship's broken down, doesn't it? You can't see him coming back from a press conference like that.
Not really, Andy.
No.
It stinks of...
I mean, I'm amazed that even as he spoke, that a big shepherd's crook didn't appear around his neck and pull him out of the press conference. What about tonight's game, Andy?
Yeah, what about tonight's game?
Well, it's live on talkSPORT for a start.
Well, it is, and I was a bit disappointed with Chelsea last week. I thought, after following the World Club Cup where they played so well,
champions.
They played brilliantly. It wasn't just whether they won it was the way they played was really exciting. And I know Palace are great and they're very difficult to break down, but you know, it was a bit of a sort of anemic sort of performance from Chelsea.
Yeah. Andy, it's a case of Palace play three at the back as good as anybody in the Premier League that I've seen. And they do it with such efficiency. And they always offer a threat as well. Chelsea got frustrated. They just couldn't get, past the Palace back line. Look at what they've done. They've done it to Liverpool. They've done it to Manchester City, Community Shield in the Cup. They've frustrated teams and do it brilliantly well.
They do.
And offer a threat. They're not a team that are redundant going forward either. They offer a threat. So I think you have to sort of go past that game. But I don't think you could have a better game of playing West Ham at the Bridge tonight. I just think
it's at the London Stadium.
at the London Stadium. At the London Stadium. Anywhere.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, they went there and won last year. But, I mean, for Graham Potter, he needs something tonight, doesn't he? A draw minimum, I think.
Well, when you got beat in the manner of 3-0 to a team that's got promoted, and yes, they're a completely different outfit, even though a number of their players scored the goals that were there last year. It's a team that I think it feels like there's a fear. And I went to quite a number of games at the end of the season last year, and I came away thinking fans are disillusioned. They don't feel they're being entertained. They just have a real negative vibe. And it won't take a lot, Andy and Danny, you go to West Ham and it isn't sort of after an hour, the faithful can be really, really frustrated. And if Chelsea get in that position and take the lead, I think it'll be a test of character for the players on the pitch.
Yeah, no amount of the Baroness coming on here and saying she has every faith in the manager will, if they start to get poor results, that will count for very little indeed. Tony, lovely to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
He's sticking with us for the full span.
Of course.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
sorry.
sticking. I understand. You can't get rid of me that quickly.
Hang on, I'm just checking my contract. I thought I could. No. Apparently you're staying on for the Fools panel, Tony. Thank you very much indeed. Tony will be with us so we do the Fools panel next. I'm not used to the inner workings of this show.
is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans that's done by the fans.
Yes! Goal! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
You don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
This afternoon with those
Oh,
glasses.
those glasses, man.
Oh, leave him alone.
Meanwhile,
I'm going to go to.
Go on.
I'm going to go 2-0 as well for Chelsea.
Meanwhile, Ian himself is obviously doing this local park. He looks like he's in Lord of the Rings with that big tree behind him, doesn't he? Tom the Spurs fan, please tell me you're not wearing daft glasses or doing it up a tree. Where are you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm on the A120 going home.
Lovely.
Lovely, yeah.
What do you think the score will be between West Ham and Chelsea? Two of Spurs' favourite teams, Tom.
I think it'll be West Ham 1, Chelsea 3.
Thank you very much indeed. At least Tom thought poor old West Ham could get a goal. But a clean sweep there. Everybody predicting a defeat for West Ham United. Then 12:30 Saturday is the game between Manchester City and Spurs. talkSPORT exclusive again. I've got to go first here, haven't I? Given the week Spurs have had, given that Manchester City have completely re-upped their team, you would expect City to win this comfortably, but I think Thomas Frank will play his patented 8-2 formation for the big games, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw because I can't bear the thought of Spurs losing that game. Andy?
So much about the first goal here. You know, if Spurs get it, there'll probably be a draw. City get it. I do fear for Spurs with their lack of creativity.
Oh, you traitor.
I know. I think this... I was impressed with City last week, but I am impressed with Thomas Frank. I'm going to go 2-2.
Wow, very good. Tony Cascarino, what do you think the score will be between City and Spurs?
I'm going to go City 2, Tottenham 1. I'll be interested to see how well Kudus does, Richarlison, because I was at the game last week. Dan, I thought they'd done really well. City were impressive, maybe flattered them slightly, beating Wolves 4-0, but still deserved to win.
Ian Danter, accompanied by his lovely tree, what do you think the score will be up there in East Manchester?
Well, I've just asked the tree, and the tree says 2-0 to City.
Because Ian's punished me there for having to go.
The thing is, you always expect City to beat Tottenham, but Tottenham have got a good record against City, home and away.
More particularly, Son Heung-min and Kulusevski have got a good record against City, neither of whom are available.
Okay.
Tom, you're a Spurs fan. Can you see them getting anything up there?
Unfortunately, I can't. And so I have to go Man City 2, Tottenham 1.
Okay, so a mixture of results there. Everyone thinks Spurs get beat, except me and Andy think there might be a draw. The third game, oh boy, how juicy is this given us all that's gone on in the last 3 weeks. Monday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, talkSPORT exclusive again. Newcastle against Liverpool. I've got to start here. I don't think the crowd will allow Newcastle to lose this game, but can they actually influence Liverpool's team? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw again there. What about you, Andy?
I think Newcastle could nick this. Liverpool got problems. They've got no right backs, and I think this could be like a 1-0 to Newcastle.
Thank you very much. Got to rush you here, Tony, because we're going to need to get to the horse racing. What's the score going to be?
I'm going to go Liverpool winning 1-0 against Newcastle.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian.
I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw.
Thank you. And finally, Tom, the Spurs fan, what's the score going to be?
2-1 to Liverpool.
Thank you very much indeed. So a widespread of results there as well. Thank you all for taking part in the Fools panel. We'll see at the moment. Paul, represented by me and Max, is winning, and Andy is, well, you're fourth, Andy, out of 5. So that's not so bad, is it? Listen, thank you all very, very much indeed for that. We'll have a quick break. When we come back, we'll get the next big race from York.
Boxing Update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Yeah, this Saturday live on DAZN, unbeaten Jack Rafferty defends his British and Commonwealth titles against the dangerous southpaw Mark Chamberlain in a domestic showdown. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing. Into the last hour of the week of Kelly and Jacobs. I promise you an absolutely brilliant Clips of the Week horse racing special,
fun.
which will include at least one of our horse racing correspondents who will go back to York for the Jim Crack Stakes. It's Louis Stewart, who won't be involved, and Rupert Bell, who very much will.
Thank you, Danny. Yes, welcome back for the Jim Crack Stakes. They're loading him. The favourite here is Do or Do Not, a maiden, but has been competing in some of the best 2-year-old races around and is the strong favourite here. Can he win this? Should he win this? Do or Do Not?
Yeah, do or do not, based on recent form, rated 105 in this. Where's the cheek pieces for the first time? Trainer just looking to sharpen this horse a touch for this fast 6 furlongs.
Yep, and running well at Royal Ascot and other big meetings through the summer, but just hasn't been able to find a way of getting his nose in front. So Tom Marquand takes the ride on this Ed Walker trained individual. Others to keep an eye out: Reciprocated, also Life Plan, another one who's perhaps bigger price than probably his form reflects, because trained by the unfashionable Declan Carousel. Big moment for him. They're all set then. 6 furlongs is the trip for this Jim Crack Stakes, one of the traditional 2-year-old highlights. All rearing up. It looks as if it is Rock on Thunder, or Reciprocated, was just rearing up there, but is actually settled down now and has got away pretty sharply. A little slowly away was Comical Point, and also Irish Fighter was somewhat slowly into his stride. But it's Yorkshire Puds who leads them coming down the centre of the track. Right up there is Igoli. Also right up there is Rock on Thunder on the stand side, and Do or Do Not is wide on the far side, but has got a clear run. So Comical Point just taking a little time to settle. Out the back it's still Irish Fighter, but leading them down the straight here it is Rock on Thunder and Kevin Stott. Then from Macaulay, then also trying to pick up his Life Plan. Do or Do Not on the far side has every chance, if find a way to quicken. Still out in front though is Rock on Thunder with a furlong and a half to go. Rock on Thunder leads. Do or Do Not's on the far side. Igoli's running a big race, trying to pick up his Life Plan, but Rock on Thunder has the advantage at the moment, and Do or Do Not is not going to be winning here, because Rock on Thunder looks as if he's going to be winning, storming home, although storming home now is Life Plan. Life Plan is upside. Life Plan has actually gone on and snatched it in the final 50 yards. Life Plan for Zach Wheatley. What a big moment for him. Unheralded jockey, but a big moment. Got a great tune out of Life Plan in the final stages, as Rock on Thunder looked as if he was going to win that race, because this two have come well clear of the rest. Do or Do Not, once again, disappointing. Can't find a way of winning, and is actually well beaten in third.
This is a huge moment for jockey Zach Wheatley, a £3 claimer, and if anyone doesn't know that £3 claimers in group races don't get to use their weight advantage, so Zach Wheatley will be absolutely delighted with this. His first group winner under his belt. Rock on Thunder looked to be the winner from a furlong out, travelled oh so well the whole way up the home straight. Do or Do Not kind of lacked that change of gear and had no turn of foot in the final furlong. I think he'd be a horse that will be better when he steps up in trip, but a huge moment for both jockey and trainer. Life Plan wins the Jim Crack.
Yeah, 2 from 2 now. Life Plan winning at 13-2, and what you do if you're the owner, they have a Jim Crack dinner. You have to get a speech ready, because you are the guest of honour, and you then give us your thoughts about the racing industry. So a big moment for Martin Tedman and his owners to win this in very emphatic style. Good performance. Life Plan looks a 2-year-old with a bright future.
Thank you very much, Did he came up and snatched that like Arsenal getting Eberechieze, didn't they? Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, very good. And Racing TV is the only channel showing every race live from the Ebor Festival there in York. This week only, you can join for just £12 per month. Head to racingtv.com/Ebor now for all the details. Now we're going to be joined by our colleague Max Scott, who has been up at Nottingham Forest today. Hello, Max.
There you are, look at him.
Fellas, how are we?
Yes, you must be happy. Your spiritual home.
His actual home, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm at the spiritual home, but it's been a strange old day here in Nottingham. It's fair to say. I mean, we're obviously hearing these quite shocking lines coming out of Nuno Espirito Santo's press conference, which clearly indicate there is some significant tension between him and the owner of Evangelos Marinakis. We understand that the recent decision to sign Douglas Luiz was led by Evangelos Marinakis and Edu, who of course has recently come in, having previously been at Arsenal, and perhaps that has sort of caused a little bit more friction than expected, and that I think we've seen that in, of course, the press conference comments from Nuno Espirito Santo. But originally, fellas, the reason that I've been here in Nottingham, as you say, in my spiritual city, you could say, is to speak to Morgan Gibbs-White, because of course in the off-season, one of the big sort of transfer dramas, which hasn't lasted anywhere near as long as the likes of Isak, the likes of Johan Visser, but what did shock us is it looked like Morgan Gibbs-White was sort of imminently about to sign for your Spurs, Danny, and we understood there was a medical booked, and then very quickly things changed. Morgan Gibbs-White signed an extension at Nottingham Forest, becoming their highest paid player, which I think we'd all agree reflects his status at the club. He wears the captain's armband and has been significant in bringing European football back to Nottingham Forest for the first time in 30 years. He, of course, did what has become an infamous interview with the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, and since then hasn't spoke to any media. So we've sat down with him in an exclusive and tried to get his side of the story as to what was behind his decision, why he made the decision to stay at Nottingham Forest and to sign an extension and to not go to Tottenham Hotspur. One of the big reasons that he told me, which we're going to hear now, is that the thought of leaving Forest, having come so far from relegation dogfights, points deductions, PSR, but to take them to European football, he told talkSPORT exclusively that he felt that he had some unfinished business with the club.
With everything that happened this summer, it was it hit home a bit. Like, I've been through a lot with this club these past 3 years. And to feel like I was going to miss out on, what we achieved last season sort of broke me a little bit. And I wanted to go through this next stage with Forest and, play Europa League football with them, because, me and a few others were the ones that 3 years ago we came in. This was our goal, to stay in the league and try and push up. And last season we probably did achieve more than what we expected to do. But I feel like that's credit to the players, to the manager, to the owner for investing well and, just creating that real bond in the team. And like I said, it's a home from home. So I sort of had that broken-hearted feeling, like when you split up with your first childhood girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan Gibbs-White there comparing being transferred to Spurs with the danger of splitting up with a first girlfriend. But Max, the truth is, and I know he's talked to you about this as well as footballing issues, he's been trying to deal with some stuff off the pitch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of weeks before an absolutely magnificent performance from Morgan Gibbs-White in that opening day win at the City Ground here against Brentford 3-1. Despite that, he's had his own personal issues off the pitch. He's just given birth to his second son with his fiancée, and he told talkSPORT again exclusively that there were some personal issues surrounding this which led him to make such a speedy decision about his future. As I've just said, fellas, we've seen these long drawn-out transfer dramas, and because of some things going on off the field, which we'll hear in a moment, he was absolutely hell-bent on making a decision that wasn't just right for his own personal ambition, but also right for his family.
Every footballer has personal goals and personal ambitions that they want to achieve. Mine's winning trophies, playing in the World Cup, playing in the Euros, playing Champions League football, just to be able to reach the maximum that I'm able to reach. But obviously in the summer, everybody's seen what was going on and whatever. But away from that, it was a really difficult period for me and my fiancée. Obviously, having my second child, but there was a few complications with all of that. And I believed in being professional, showing up every day and letting everything else take care of what it needs to do. I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. And I'm delighted with my decision, more than happy. I think my fiancée is even more happy because she didn't get to carry on with all the stress.
Obviously, we wish them and the baby all the very, very best. I'm not quite sure on what he was getting at there, but look, the main thing is, it seems to me, Max, that I speak here with my heart as a Spurs fan. If in his own heart he genuinely didn't want to go to Tottenham, then of course that's the right thing to do for both Spurs and himself.
Absolutely, Danny. I mean, there's two things that have come out really clearly to me, having sat down with Morgan for quite an extended period of time, longer than I expected. You know, he's really willing to speak and open up about what happened in the summer. The first thing is that, you know, and of course, fans of football clubs believe this, but there is a genuine sense of appreciation for what the club's done for him and the relationship that he has with the club, with the owner, with the fans. And that's a significant reason why he felt like he had this unfinished business, that he'd gone so far with the club, and he felt that it was the right thing for him, considering the ambition of the club, to stay here and fight in the Europa League. I mean, we've just seen in the past couple of weeks, haven't we, the amount of signings that Forest have brought in: James McAtee, Amari Hutchinson, Douglas Luiz, Dan Ndoye, Callum Wendo. We're talking about some real top signings here, and he knew that there was that ambition, and he felt that it wouldn't be the right time for him to leave the club. But on that personal note, I think what he's getting at, Danny, is that he, you know, his whole life was in flux, not just on the pitch in terms of where his career was going to go, but there were these serious complications that his partner was having with their second child. Thankfully, that's all great, and it's, you know, we're pleased to report that things are going well there. But he didn't want to be in this position of confusion, not just for himself but for his family. And so, of course, you know, we all see footballers and we talk about them on the pitch. We talk about their skill, their technique, which Morgan Gibbs-White has in abundance. But we often do forget about circumstances going on behind the scenes. And I think the fact that he's opened up about that just sort of lifts the veil on the complicated lives that we have, not just as footballers, but as human beings. And that's been a really important part of his decision-making process.
It was interesting, though, because before the season started, Nuno did an interview and he was really unhappy with the transfer business. He bought enough players, but he didn't seem happy about. He said, "We're not ready with this, with that. We're nowhere." And they turn up and they played brilliantly and blew away Brentford completely. Now, we don't know how much of an achievement that is until we've seen Brentford play a bit more. But you know, it was a good start. You just wonder, though, if the season would be, well, it would be disrupted if Nuno was to leave.
I think it goes without saying Nuno's been an absolutely integral part of Forest's totally unexpected rise to European football last season. You know, they were understandably on many people's cards to go down last season, and what they achieved was absolutely significant. The way that Nuno built the squad, built the bonds within the players and set the team up. Of course, we saw last season this incredible defence out of nowhere, counter-attacking football, which for a large part of the season, until those last sort of 8 games or so, teams just couldn't work out. Nuno's been integral to the success here at Nottingham Forest, and so understandably, all of these concerning comments that we're seeing about the relationship not being as close with the owner, potential tension behind the scenes about who's been in charge of bringing in players like Douglas Luiz, that is hugely concerning, I'm sure, for Nottingham Forest fans, because just as things are looking up, Morgan Gibbs-White signs an extension, we get bumped up to the Europa League, we sign all of these players. Brilliant performance against Brentford. Now everything is cast into doubt, and I know that just having speaking to people that are doing tours around the stadium here, they're massively concerned about the future of Nuno, because like there was with Steve Cooper, there is a huge strength of feeling towards him because of what he's done for the club.
And finally, Max, obviously Morgan Gibbs-White is the captain, so he's dealing with players that he's been playing with for a few years, and a massive influx of new players as well. One that he will have no trouble with, I suspect, is the ultimate veteran professional, Chris Wood.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a purist Barclays bagsman, isn't he? You know, there was lots of doubt about whether Chris Wood could continue his form into this season. Of course, it's only 1 game in, 2 absolutely brilliant finishes on Sunday. And that puts him on 91 goals, Premier League goals. And so I asked Morgan Gibbs-White how he felt about backing Chris Wood's chances of getting into that elusive Premier League 100 club.
I think without a shadow of a doubt, he'll get it this season. He's an incredible guy and an incredible striker, and I think people need to start giving him his flowers. You know, I think he's got a good team around him that are able to give him the chances that he needs to get to score goals, and whether they're half chances or full chances, he takes them, and it's shown on the weekend.
Yeah, thanks to Max Scott there and to Morgan Gibbs-White for all that interesting stuff. You can see the full interview on the talkSPORT YouTube channel, and that will also be available as a podcast before very, very long indeed. Again, thanks to Max for bringing us that. And, you know, the critical part for that for me was the bit about his personal life, because, you know, the Spurs thing was going to be a huge upheaval, and if you're already worrying about the lady wife and a new child and all the rest of it, maybe for himself he did the right thing, and maybe we all misjudged that bizarre interview he did with Mr. Marinakis. Who knows?
It was a bit strange, though. I mean, Spurs must have got the feeling that he wanted to join, others wouldn't have made a bid, would they? So
well,
a bit odd.
I get that, yeah. I say it is also available as the talkSPORT Daily podcast. Next here on talkSPORT, we'll be joined by Todd Macklin to get all the latest from American sport, and particularly as the NFL is now literally coming down the pipeline. About 12 days to go before the first game.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans that's done by the fans.
Yes! Oh! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
you don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, it's time now for today's Bet Builder with our friends at Paddy Power. Welcome to Ben Steele, and we're looking forward to tomorrow afternoon in the Premier League as Manchester City play Tottenham at the Etihad. Ben, please remind us just how the Bet Builder works.
How you doing? So the Bet Builder is essentially just your sort of standard ACCA, but it's based on just a single game. So we'll have 5 picks, myself, two of you guys, your producer, and then the People's Pick, which is the most popular pick that's been backed by the Paddy Power customers so far. We'll put that all together into a Bet Builder and put a bit of money on that, hopefully winning some money for the Attitude Foundation.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, if only I could remember what my selection was.
I know what yours is.
Oh, go and tell me, remind me.
Yeah, I will. Mine was probably going to break the bet already because mine, Ben, is for Richarlison to score for Tottenham.
It is, yes. And hey, look, he started the season well, didn't he? There's a decent chance that was it his second goal? It was an early contender for goal of the season, I guess.
You guess?
Hey, look, it's been the best one scored so far, hasn't it?
All 11 players touched the ball, and he scored with an overhead kick from behind himself.
17 passes, I think there were actually.
But all 11 players touched the ball in the move. Goal of the season. Yeah. Well done, everybody. But
exactly, we can all go home, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going for an assist from Reinders.
You are,
Reinders.
yes. Obviously
he had a brilliant start to his career at City.
He did, yeah. Instant impact. He's looking like he's being set up to be the sort of the Kevin De Bruyne replacement, I guess, isn't he, in the Man City side? He's in at 7-2. Just to say there, Danny, Richarlison score anytime is 13-5 as well.
Okay, well, Sean, the producer's pick, and very biased it is too, is for Romero to be booked, the great man and the captain of Tottenham.
He is, yeah. And look, if you're playing against Man City, you're up against a bit of a physical battle with Haaland, aren't you? So Romero, not one to sort of shy away from that kind of thing. So in a physical matchup, would we really think that the card is that surprising? He's in at 12-5 to be booked in that game.
Now the People's Pick, as you say, very, very popular indeed, and I don't understand the people because they've got their pick is for City to be the winners.
It is, yeah. I've had 22,000 punters have backed that already in some form or other. Guardiola's side, obviously, they won the last time these two sides played back in February, although I guess Spurs had kind of phoned it in and were focusing on the Europa League by that point, weren't they? But they'll be looking to set out an early season marker to their title rivals. A win over Spurs is always a good one to show that you're up and ready to go for the season.
Huge odds, I imagine, over City to win, yeah?
4-9, so they're very short price. Spurs 9-2. To be honest, I don't really mind that. I think even as an Arsenal fan, I think Spurs have got a decent record against Man City. But no, the People's Pick is Manchester City to win at 4-9.
What about your own last selection, Ben?
Yeah, so I'm going in with Andy as well there on Reinders. I'm saying he's going to have one plus shot on target at 8-15. Look, he obviously scored last week. He got 15 goals in all competitions for AC Milan last season. He doesn't have to score for this bet to win. He just has to get a shot on target, and if Vicario saves it, Vicario saves it. A reminder there, obviously, as you heard in the intro to this bit, that any of these player-specific selections will be sort of saved by Super Sub. If any of those players come off, the guy who comes on will carry on the bet for us there.
And what's the odds then? What's the possible money that we're going to win for the charity?
Yeah, cool. So we'll just run through the 5 here. It's Richarlison to score anytime, Tierney Reinders to have an assist and a shot on target, Romero to be booked, and Manchester City to win. It's actually coming in at a pretty massive 91-1. So the £10 bet.
That's Richarlison, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. I think the Reinders assist at 7-2 is a big old price as well. But so that the £10 bet the Paddy Power will place on that could win up to £922, including stake.
Wow.
And as I said at the start of that, that'll be donated to the Attitude Foundation if we have managed to put a winning bet together.
I can't see it coming together with all people picking City to win. Come on. Listen, thank you very much indeed, Ben. That's Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1-5 per leg. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, that music can mean only one thing. We're joined from the United States by our US sports expert, very much part of the furniture here at H&J, in this case K&J. A big good afternoon to Todd Macklin. Hi, Todd.
Danny, how are you doing?
Really, really good. Really enjoyed this week helping out here, sitting in for Paul, slouching in for Paul, I suppose people would say. Let's get some of these stories going. An incredible one. I mean, the great and famous Deion Sanders has gone viral over a strict dress code he's enforcing on the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, listen, I think it's something that is terrific. He's telling his football players that when they're in class, he doesn't want them sitting at the back of the class. He wants them dressed appropriately, so no kind of flip-flops or hoodies and that. Listen, I think it's something that all of us of a certain age grew up with, that, you know, it's a sign of respect. And I think it's terrific because for so long, it's kind of been at these big universities and big colleges that the football players get to do whatever they want. And here's a guy saying, no, that's not the case. You got to go in and put in the work in the classroom, because if you don't, there are going to be consequences on the football field. So I think it's terrific.
One of the traditional teams of college football, probably the most traditional team, the Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, as they say over there. But they've done something by redesigning their logo that hasn't gone down too well.
Yeah, listen, Andy, I think anytime things change, there's going to be a certain amount of people who dislike it, right? And you're talking about Notre Dame, arguably one of the most famous college football programs. This was the first time they ever changed their logo. I think their logo debuted in 1964. It's a leprechaun with its fists up in kind of a fighting position.
Mm-hmm.
They kept the leprechaun, but instead of the fists up, they put a football in his hand, and it looks like he's running with the football. So, hey, listen, with today's day and age, a lot of people like it. Listen, because it's different, it's new, and they're doing it to make money. They're doing it to sell new merchandise with the new logo. But when you're talking about, you know, tradition, and something as famous as that logo, you're going to have people who don't like it. And that's just the reality of it.
Aren't they called the Fighting Irish?
Yeah,
that's their nickname.
They are.
Yeah, so
They
the old
are.
logo perfectly reflected that national stereotyping, if you don't mind me saying. Jerry Jones has described something as the worst loss in Cowboys history, and given the amount of losses they sustain, what is he talking about?
Well, listen, he should be talking about him as a general manager of this team. They're in a contract dispute with Micah Parsons, who's their defensive lineman. Jerry Jones says they agreed to a deal, him and Micah Parsons, and then the agent got involved, and now they're at a contract stalemate. They've got their first game of the year, the opening game of the year of the NFL season, next Thursday against the Eagles. So to me, that's the biggest loss. The biggest loss has been Jerry Jones as GM of the Cowboys. When he gets involved in putting the team together, with respect to personnel, there's a lot of problems. Jerry Jones, the businessman, is one of the best in all of sports, but Jerry Jones, the general manager, is one of the worst in sports. So to me, that's what I'm talking about with biggest losses with Jerry Jones. But the problem is he's never going to not be involved as the general manager because he's the owner. So as Cowboy fans, it feels like we're going to go through another year of the Cowboys not winning the Super Bowl.
Well, I think that's a pretty fair prediction. What is your prediction, Todd? I know you'll do a lot more of this, but for my benefit, because I won't necessarily be on air then, we're only days away from the start of the NFL season on the 5th of September. Who are the leading contenders, you think, this year?
Yeah, I listen, I think, Danny, they're kind of the usual suspects, if you will, right? The Eagles, the defending champs, are going to be there. I think you have to look at Kansas City in the AFC, and will Buffalo finally push through and win a first Super Bowl? They've been so close for many years. Listen, I think it is kind of the usual suspects. You're always going to have a team or two that surprises and go on a run, but it feels like it is the heavy favorites again are going to be in the mix.
Listen, Todd, it's always a great fun and an education to listen to you. Thank you very, very much indeed. Todd Macklin there from the United States. He'll be back, of course, next Friday here when Paul is back for the proper H&J. And you can get all the latest on the NFL at talksport.com.
Eddie Howe says if there's one thing he could change about this summer, it's keeping the Isak saga behind closed doors.
In this situation, the club has spoken, and probably justifiably so in that moment.
Newcastle will be without the striker for Monday's clash with Liverpool, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Another man who's going nowhere is Ruben Dias. He's signed a fresh contract with Man City lasting until 2029. City face Tottenham tomorrow lunchtime, exclusively live on talkSPORT. Now, Forest have rejected claims that Nuno Espirito Santo could be sacked. Reports in Italy suggest Evangelos Marinakis has had enough and wants to get rid. But talkSPORT's Alex Crook says he's been told that's a no, but isn't surprised at friction between the manager and owner.
Both Marinakis and Nuno can be quite volatile. Sometimes that will work in Forest's favour because I think Marinakis doesn't necessarily want a yes man working underneath him, but it's also going to mean there are going to be clashes in personality along the way.
And is there a defensive crisis emerging at Crystal Palace? Oliver Glasner says there will be if Mark Gahey leaves this summer. And then, well, desperate times call for desperate measures.
We have no centre-back available at the moment. And if Mark leaves, okay, maybe I will try my boots because I was a centre-back and this could be a good option.
Get more on talksport.com.
Boundary and Nana coming up in just a little while. Plus, we'll be doing it what I think is one of my favourite clips of the week ever. First, though, the horses are getting themselves into position for the 3:35. That is the Coolmore Stakes. It's a Group 1 race. Let's get back to York now and to our commentaries team of Louis Stewart and Rupert Bell.
Yep, the sprinters being loaded in for this Nunthorpe Stakes, Group 1. They have a stack full of Group 1s here, and this is an intriguing contest. Arizona Blaze is the favourite from Aidan Murray's yard over in Ireland. David Egan on board for the Ammo Racing operation. But it's such an open race, Louis. Who do you think is going to be the cream of the crop here?
Yeah, well, I think both mine and Rupert's hearts are with Spicy Marg for the Bell family. We really hope she puts up a big performance here. Obviously, 2-year-olds have a bit to find in races like this. They get a massive weight allowance against the older horses, so interesting to see how she gets on. It's a very wide open race at the top of the bedding. I think you could probably state a case for a lot of these. Asphora, a Royal Ascot winner, the Australian Raider for Henry Dwyer and O'Shea Murphy, regularly partners this filly, and she is by far a very fast horse and does well in these big races.
Maghera was just a little bit fractious going into the stall. She was keen going, the horse was keen going down to the start, but has now gone. Asphora, Sweet As You Like, this Australian sprinter goes in. Frost at Dawn, maybe one of the pace setters in this 5-furlong dash. Spicy Marg, yes, my brother won this race back in 2011 when Margot did, but he's had to supplement this horse. This 2-year-old. There are 2 2-year-olds. Lady Iman is the other one. Spicy Marg, ridden by Harry Bentley, who's a British jockey based over in Hong Kong, but they don't race at the moment, so has an opportunity to do the 8 stone 2. Rumstar coming forward for this Group 1 race, the final race that we're covering here on talkSPORT at this York Ebor meeting. The 17 runners are set, and it's a pretty level break. Manakan gets a good break on the far side. JM Jungle, recent Goodwood winner, is also right there. Spicy Mark, and also right up there is Ain't Nobody, has got into a good position as they come down the straight. Night Raider now seems to have settled into the lead. On this near side, Frost at Dawn, also on the far side, Manakan, JM Jungle. Arizona Blaze has got a good position. Looking at the back, I can see struggling is Saeed Al-Darian's got to pick up from a long way. Now the race is halfway through the race. Now trying to pick up Arizona Blaze on the far side, Night Raider. Manakan's right in the mix. Frost at Dawn, and Asphora is in a good position. And if he can find a way of quickening, Asphora, Manakan on this near side, Frost at Dawn, JM Jungle as they come into the race. Asphora on the far side, Ain't Nobody is flying, but Asphora just may have the call. Frost at Dawn is trying to rally, but Asphora is proving Australian great. The flag hit because Asphora has come through to win, a punch of the fist, and I think we've got the Australian connections right down below us because they're whooping and a hollering. It's an expensive business bringing horses over here, but this horse has taken time to come to hand, and Asphora has proved the pick of the crop here at 11-1.
Well, O'Shea Murphy will be delighted with that performance. He's had so much faith in this mare Asphora. She comes here year after year and wears her heart on her sleeve. Like I mentioned before the race, a Royal Ascot winner, O'Shea Murphy, hit the front with half a furlong to run. It was all plain sailing after that. O'Shea Murphy absolutely elated with that performance. This filly come over a bit later than what she normally likes to back over in the UK, which she didn't really get her prep runs in. Now she's fit as a flea, and she got the job done here in the Nunthorpe.
Winning in the end by about a length, so that's a pretty convincing margin in a race over just 5 furlongs. A class act is Asphora, and their patience has been rewarded by a typically brilliant success. So I think it's time for some champagne as we come to the end of our coverage. Thank you very much. A bottle has just been provided, 1895 something from York Racecourse, but unfortunately it's not been opened yet, so I'm going to probably be thirsty. But there we go, we're done and dusted from York. So,
yes, what happened to Spicy Marg?
It doesn't matter.
Well, it does to me. I had 5 each way on it. Thanks.
Well, so did I. I had a bit more than that on it. And
1895. I couldn't work out it was the price or the vintage. Listen, thank you very, very much indeed. Listen, Louis and Rupert, absolutely brilliant over the last few days. Really, really gave the show a feel that only live sport can bring in. Of course, that's why you're listening to talkSPORT in general. Racing TV is the only channel showing every race live from the Ebor Festival at York. This week only, you can join for just £12 per month. Head to racingtv.com/Ebor now for all the details. I guess it's time for this now.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT Clips of the Week.
Yeah, it is Clips of the Week, thanks to Toolstation. And this is one that we've worked on for nearly 3 months to get it to the pitch of perfection, which you're going to hear. Because it is to do with the York racing, it is a horse racing special. And we've got a ton of these, Andy.
We have, and to kick off today's horse racing special, it's none other than Rupert Bell, getting himself into a spot of bother as usual.
I did the important thing as I had a big night. And it's very important to... Oh, hello, I'm just being run over by a truck.
Funny.
Yeah.
He survived.
Oh, he made a great recovery. He did indeed. Yeah. And it wouldn't be a racing special without our old friend Derek Thompson. Here's Tomo showcasing his lack of knowledge about cartoons.
Oh, guys, today, just quickly, can I just mention it? Wolverhampton, it's Family Fun Day. They've got the Red Devils free-fall parachute team flying in. They've also got a SpongeBob is there, Ronnie, and SquarePants is there.
Yeah, both of them.
And SquarePants.
That's tremendous, isn't it?
Yeah, both of them in one place together. Amazing.
Never normally seen. Back to Rupert again now, getting himself a bit twisted.
They call them racing plates. Does that mean you're permanently hunched with a bad back banging on a horse?
Yeah,
yes,
that would cause a hunchback if you were banging on a horse.
It's true.
Let's stick with the great man Bell, who this time was ahead of all of us in knowing what the Queen would be wearing to the races.
Yes, Rupert, I mean, that was always a favourite of yours. What's the Queen wearing, wasn't it?
Yes, but I knew she wasn't going to be wearing anything yesterday.
Ooh,
yeah,
really?
I
missed that one.
That was startling, wasn't it? Yeah, that showed the royal family showing a new face to the world, isn't it?
Lightened up Ascot. Anyway, now here's his partner in crime, Lizzie Kelly, having tomato soup for what appears to be the first time ever.
It looks really good. So I'll let you taste that one. Do you like tomato soup?
Oh, it's very tomatoey.
Yeah, well,
very tomatoey.
Slow roasted tomatoes.
Yeah, well, it's tomato soup.
Yeah, what did you expect? Salmon and chocolate flavour? What's going on there?
Brilliant.
Back to Tomo now, getting all amorous with Big Al.
And he said Sea Lord is the one he's looking forward to. So whenever Sea Lord runs this week, that's the one that
I'm
he
down there
thinks.
tomorrow, Tom. I'm down there.
You love
I'm
it,
down in Mr. Shannon's tonight, and then down to Goodwood. A bit of gallops Tuesday morning, and then down to Goodwood Tuesday afternoon.
Wonderful, I tell you.
Oh
dear.
We know Rupert likes a big night, but maybe this is a sign he's been overdoing it.
So, you know, that is a business proposition, but it's a very serious one, isn't it?
Well, I mean, of TV ratings, everything.
That was it.
He's just died again.
Self-combustion.
First he was hit by a truck, and then he's self-immolated there. Absolutely. Now, this was terrible. We know that Cheltenham is always a big highlight for Alan Brazil, but this time round he got some really terrible, terrible news.
Mr. Dembele faced a 10-game ban for a cost to eye gouge or potential, and Cheltenham to crack down on drunks. Wow.
It's bad news for you, isn't it? Let's be
Crack
honest.
down on drunks. Brilliant.
Here's Lizzie Kelly trying to wrap her head round a well-known saying.
Well, Angel Blue didn't settle early on, but Frankie got a good tune out of this horse.
When it's not fixed, don't try and break it, or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Particularly a bit of neighing at the front as well. That was very, very good.
Okay.
And here, staying with Lizzie, in this clip, she talks very highly of the horse Lossiemouth.
Joyers has also made sure that she's not far away from Lossiemouth. You'd say Lossiemouth wouldn't mind them going a little bit quicker.
Well, I agree with that, yeah. And here's a great example of how intently Alan Brazil listens to his guests.
If you ask me whatever favourite race course, well, obviously Cheltenham is very good, but it's the one I'm going to next. It's the next race course I go to. So after Newmarket today, I'll pop along to Wolverhampton tonight. Why? Which is yours?
Right, Tom. Also, just a little bit of breaking news.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, a 20-second question. No, I'm doing something else now. Now, here's a first appearance for Ray Parlour, who clearly doesn't watch too much horse racing, going by this.
On the moment, it might be just freeze, mightn't it? It's a crowd, and, you know, it's a massive race. The horses know when it's a big race, don't they? Surely.
No.
They're intelligent people.
No, they're not. They're not intelligent at all.
Yeah, and they're not even people.
Horses are intelligent people. Well done, Ray.
Back to Big Al, educating us all about horses.
But this is the one thing I would point out, Simon, and it's very difficult. Horses can't talk, of course.
No.
Yeah, except for
Mr. Ed.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, and Bojack Horseman. They're the only two talking horses we know. Still going. As we're doing a racing special, it's right to include racing lover Harry Redknapp, who always has all bases covered.
What are you doing this weekend? You watching or are you racing?
No, just watching a bit of racing.
Well, fair enough. Are you watching or racing?
He's combined all of those things, yeah.
And finally, let's end on Tomo, who was always making sure the listeners were aware of good news.
So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Oh, that is brilliant. And good news just in. Racing at Uttoxeter goes ahead.
Yippee!
Priorities there, absolutely. That woman was singing her tiny heart out. But the racing at Alton Towers or wherever it was still going. Well, that's that. I think I did that deliberately because Alton Towers is at Uttoxeter, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, geography points.
Oh, I've never been.
Geography points. But that was Clips of the Week, all thanks to Tool Station.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Tool Station. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Tool Station.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans. It's done by the fans.
Yes! Oh! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defensive back.
If you've got a problem or something to say,
you don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Welcome to a big London derby of East versus West.
Headed by Bowen! Oh, what a goal! Squares it back to Palmer!
Chelsea, with the amount that they've spent, that in itself brings obviously pressure on itself.
Finished at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland 3, West Ham 0.
It's a mess, West Ham. We don't actually know what Graham Potter is yet.
Potter, for me, he's got a lot of questions to answer.
West Ham is not a club that panics about its managers. We tend to stick with them and see it through.
Chelsea home, Forest away, Spurs at home, Palace at home, Everton away, Arsenal away. As a West Ham fan, you're looking at that this morning, how many points they're going to get?
Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0, no goals.
Are we seriously talking about a team that's just won the World Club Championship here, needing to spend to win the league? You know, I don't think so.
João Pedro with a great opportunity. Oh, what a dream first half. This is turning into for Chelsea.
I think there can be challenges this year.
Friday Night Football returns to the talkSPORT network.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that game between Chelsea and West Ham West Ham against Chelsea, of course, in just a few seconds' time. With Scott Minter. But just let me give you a little piece of news that I've been handed.
Oh, yeah.
This is interesting. Andre Onana is expected to stay at Manchester United even if they sign Sen Lemons. talkSPORT understands. talkSPORT first reported on July the 18th that United was seriously interested in the Royal Antwerp goalkeeper Lemons, and talks have intensified in recent days. The Belgian's likely to cost around £17 million and be brought in to compete with Onana for United's number 1 jersey. Sources in Belgium say personal terms between Lemons and Manchester United have already been agreed. So that, well, they do need to do something about the goalkeeping situation, and even if it's only to bring competition to Andre Onana, that's probably not the worst thing they could ever do. To help us look forward to this game, exclusively live, of course, on talkSPORT this evening between West Ham and Chelsea. Delighted to say I'm being joined by a person who played for both of those teams. Good afternoon, Scott Minto.
Hi, Danny.
There
Andy.
he is. There he is. Scott Minto's. There he is. Look, I have to start with, it's the second game of the season, but it already seems to me, Scott, like an incredibly important one for West Ham, and they managed to get something out of.
Yeah, I mean, I just listening to Tony Cottee saying about the sort of first 6 games of the season. It's amazing, isn't it, guys? When you're not playing particularly well, every game looks really, really difficult. Whereas when you're playing really well or in good form, it's like, we can beat that. We won't lose there, that type of thing. Look, they lost first game of the season. It was really disappointing. I was at the London Stadium actually hosting an event for West Ham, and I actually interviewed Graham. It was more about a leadership thing, but we touched on football for sure. And look, he was disappointed with the second half. I think he felt that they played pretty well, were probably the better side in the first half. And yet once that first goal went in, suddenly the second, and then, playing against a promoted side was always going to be difficult away from home. And Sunderland, to be fair, took full advantage. But yeah, this particular game, I've played in this game for both sides. Let me tell you, both sides will be, and both sets of fans will be really up for it. But the West Ham fans, after what happened, not just last week, but also what's happened in the last year or so, I think they gave Graham a bit of time to sort of settle in. And now it's like, okay, well, what have you got? But I don't believe he's been given the tools or the recruitment so far. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
You're not alone in that belief, because Graham Potter himself has been speaking to the media ahead of their game against his other old side, of course, Chelsea tonight, live on talkSPORT. He said that PSR restrictions are hindering the club in the transfer window.
Well, I think the profile is one that we think about privately, to be honest, because I think that helps us in the market. We have to try to find the right players always, as I repeat. It's about the right player, the right profile, the right person, always. And that isn't easy to do, especially when you've got restrictions you have because of PSR. Every club has. As I said last week, it's not like we can go for Isak. We have a certain market, and that's fine. So our job is to try to look for players that can improve us externally, and at the same time look for players and help the players we have here. Clearly we have to do that, and that's where my focus is on.
Yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, they did get the Kudus money. They've done much with it. They haven't bought many players. But it's not a bad time to play Chelsea, because they didn't have the pre-season, and it sort of showed a bit last week. So I think it's going to take Chelsea a bit of time to hit their straps. We'll see, though. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they played really well against Bayer Leverkusen. I was there at the Milan game, actually, Andy, where, first 20 minutes it was game over. There were a couple of goals up and one man down for Milan. I thought they did really well and actually didn't do either side any favour, that the referee sending a defender off. But I do think that perhaps they just came up against the side, Crystal Palace, who we know with their best 11 are good enough to be competition against anyone in the Premier League. And look, but for an eagle-eyed VAR call, then Chelsea would have lost it. But if you look at the stats, they had more possession, they had more shots. They didn't have more shots on target, but I think a draw was probably a fair result. I think if they'd been meeting Palace in a month's time at home, I'd fancy them to win it. But you're right, they didn't have much time off, and they haven't had much pre-season as well. So this probably is a perfect time to play Chelsea.
Scott, hard to know so early in the season, but given another extraordinarily active transfer, I'm going to say window, it's more like a merry-go-round at Chelsea. Players in and out, vast amounts of money going in and out of the club. What looks like success this season for Chelsea Football Club?
Well, I don't know if Andy will agree with me. I'm interested to hear his reaction off the back of what I'm about to say. Look, I think what happened last year, and there was a lot of people critical of Enzo Maresca, and I was trying to back him just because I don't want to see Chelsea be a sacking club when the owners aren't giving the ready-made world-class senior pros that Abramovich did. Yes, he sacks managers regularly, but he gave them, world-class players. That's not what happened in the last 3 years, and I just wanted to see a bit of stability. I thought what Maresca did, I mean, he should have won the Europa Conference League for sure, but to finish in the Champions League and then to win the Club World Cup and in the manner that they did, especially in that final, I thought was absolutely brilliant. But it's one thing to combine the Premier League and Conference League. It's another thing, the Premier League and the Champions League as well. So, look, I'd take fourth right now. I'd take going deep into the Champions League and maybe even win the domestic cup. But I think to break into that top three when the players are still getting used to each other, are still getting experience. Let's not forget they were the youngest ever Premier League starting 11 last season. So I think it's going to take another year or so to really chase the big three.
I think I agree with that, and they were the youngest team last week. I think average age of 23. Colwell is a big miss, though. You could see Maresca's reaction to the injury. It felt like, this is like when Liverpool lose Van Dijk. He was a pretty key player for Maresca, and you could see he was gutted that he'd lost the player for the season.
Yeah, I think the second half of the season he really came on, didn't he? And not just the goal he scored at the City ground. It was just his presence and his defending, and he wasn't diving in. He was learning a lot. So I do think he's a big miss. I mean, look, they have got a lot of centre halves, and I like Josh Achimpong, but to rely on an 18-year-old would be too much. I'm not a massive fan of Badia Shield, but I do like Trevor Chalobah and also Tosin, and we'll have to wait and see what happens to Wes Fofana. I mean, he's deleted his post, his Chelsea related on Instagram. Now it's back on. I mean, the guy's played 30 games in 3 years. Just get your head down and try and get fit. So he could be a replacement, or maybe even go for Mark Gurhey. And let me just chuck in Donnarumma as well as a goalkeeper, and then I might start talking about the Premier League.
Yeah, they're not going to do it.
There speaks an optimistic Chelsea fan. Thank you very, very much indeed to Scott Minto. Thank you, Andy, for putting up with me for the last 5 days. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you all for listening as well. I'll be back on Sunday night at 9 with Andy Brassell and Trans Europe Express. Till then, as always, I've only got 2 things to say to you. Good afternoon. God bless you all.